Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 50... Wait, 56? We good? Not going to screw it up this time. 56? Yes?
I thought you said 57.
Oh, shit. Okay. Could be 57, probably 56. I think Saif's is trying to gaslight me to get me to pay for 2 edited podcasts instead of 1 this week, which joke's on him. I don't pay him anything. Anyway, my name is Patrick. I'm joined by Saif, Steve, and special guest.
Ooh.
Special guest, reveal yourself.
Oh, my name's Josh, guys. Hello. First time on the podcast.
Wow, he managed to do it this time without doxing himself. I'm surprised.
Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't think you were allowed to speak to people that you knew in your former life once you entered witness protection.
Oh, I probably should have used a new name too, huh?
Yeah.
You can go as Hazard.
Well, I mean, you spelled Josh. You spelled Josh like Jawsh, which was kind of weird, but I mean,
Jawsh, that's
you.
awful. That's how Americans say it. Josh.
That's like my favorite TV show, Dosh and Dash. Oh, fuck, man, that was hard.
Were you trying to say Drake and Josh?
Drake and Josh, but he did it the wrong way around and still fucked it up.
That was a hard one, fellas.
God, long day at the office for Steve. Holy shit.
Now, when I say, hello, Mr. Josh, and kick your leg, that's when you respond, hello, Mr. Josh.
No, we're not doing this.
And congratulations, us trying to rip off The Simpsons for 8 seconds means that this will be demonetized.
It's not monetized to start with. Hell
yeah.
Well,
dude. Mr. Beast is supposed to be shouting us out any day now.
So kind of a funny thing about that, when I went on Anchor last time to do the Spotify upload, I saw something that said monetize the podcast, and it's like, yeah, through Anchor you can make a subscription platform for people to pay you. It's like, nah, no thanks.
Wait, hang on. So we got to pay Anchor so that they can pay us?
We make a subscription service through Anchor for people to pay us. Basically, Anchor trying to be Patreon.
Yeah, so that they can take a cut, basically.
Anchreon. Oh, let's work up the name. We'll work up the name.
Don't worry. In the world of subscription fees and higher gas prices and things, we know what the people really want.
Krispy
Content
Kreme.
that we beg people to listen to. Actually, that's better. Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, Krispy Kreme, yeah. You know what? Every day I walk into Woolworths, not every day I walk, but every time I walk into Woolies, I always go and sneak
I feel like you
into
should have started the segment with, you know what really grinds my gears.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should have. But then I make my way into the Krispy Kreme section.
You make your way downtown, walking fast.
Your Krispy Kreme section is up the back. Ours is right at the entrance and next to the checkout.
I didn't know there was a Krispy Kreme section in Woolworths.
Man,
I've never seen
cool.
one.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's take my story. It's fine. Dumb story anyway.
Yeah, well, you know.
I was just questioning the authenticity of your story.
So I'm not going to dox myself, but at my local Woolworth, I go into the back of the Krispy Kreme treat. I'm going to see if any of them have that glorious yellow sticker and will be half price or better.
Oh, that's a
and
dangerous game to play.
No, it's not. It's fine. It's just half price. It's cheaper.
Seth, many episodes ago, Steve literally talked about a cursed rice cooker that he found plugged into mains and used it to cook rice.
It was
Once.
never plugged out. It was left out in the rain for a couple of days. It doesn't work anymore since left. I've actually had to move houses. Not related to the rice cooker being haunted.
Or any spirits that might have been disturbed as a result of trying to use it.
My life literally became like the Final Fantasy Spirits Within. The spirits were within my house.
Oh man, what a great movie! I should watch it on this tasty plasma I have somewhere.
That's a
and
Life
you know
is
what was
Strange
great
joke.
with that movie? Krispy Kreme. Steve, continue.
Ooh. No, my story's done. I never get them half price. I'm having a whinge. Let the man
That was
eat
the end of the
expired
story?
food.
Holy fuck. Okay.
Well,
No, it's sorry.
The amount of times I get
thought it was
interrupted,
going
of course
anywhere
it's
else.
going to be shit. Man, you know what they say about people talking with stories that don't go nowhere?
What do they say?
I can
They
really
say they don't
change
go
that
nowhere.
story.
They're not funny.
There's always donut kings that are shutting down when the mall ends, or like the Westfield, whatever it is around you. When they close, the Donut King donuts are always half price. And I tell you what, they might be old donuts, but they never taste better than when they're half price.
There's no Donut King near my place. And, and because I support equality, I'd go to a Donut Queen.
A Dairy Queen, if you will.
Not only are there no
Don't
Donut
count.
Kings near Steve, there's no Donut Kings near this podcast sponsored by Krispy Kreme. So, Josh, one strike, it's cute. 2 strikes, it's fucking annoying, all right?
Well, when they sponsor us and I can sway them to make a vegan donut, then I will eat Krispy Kremes again.
Who the fuck wants a
real ones
vegan
would have
donut?
Yeah, real ones would have just
Actually,
eaten
no,
Krispy Kreme.
There is at the local markets that I go to, because I go to farmers markets because I'm a yuppie wanker. There is vegan gluten-free donut, and they taste very good.
I don't know what I'm supposed to
even.
do. Steve roasted himself with my roast. What do I do? Does he owe me one? Do I owe him one? I don't.
We
What
have
happens
to
here?
shake hands.
Okay, what if I don't want to?
That's too bad. The rules.
It's not,
don't make
it's not
the rules.
COVID safe, mate.
We still doing this?
Don't worry.
know.
I think between Steve and I, we have more than 6 feet of distance. Just like a hunch. I don't want to dox myself yet.
Oh man,
but
you're
I
saying
think
I'm
we
a-
might be more than 6 feet away.
Yeah, I know I'm bigger than average, man. You don't have to keep. Didn't have to project it to the world.
So, I have no idea how to transition out of that. Around the lounge this week, why don't we start with Josh? What have you been up to for the past week? Wait, no, the past like 3 months.
Honestly, nothing.
I just come in here and say nothing.
Is it
I
out
played
of
the
the week?
first
Set
God
of
of
your
War.
line, Bart.
Sit in line. I played the first God of War, and
Oh, good. So you can listen while I talk about the second one.
yeah, basically.
Josh 50-50'd which God of War to play for this episode, and he got it wrong.
I got it wrong. Yeah, it's
You know,
a
there's more
shame.
than 2 God of War games, right?
But no, wait, Josh, hang on, there was something else. Oh, sorry, no, not that you played. You got played by the guys that sold you the Steam Deck. My bad, I got that one
yeah.
backwards.
Yeah, I don't know if I should really talk about it because I haven't even got it yet. But TLDR, I bought a Steam Deck and it was supposed to arrive on Monday, and I was really excited for it. And I downloaded a whole bunch of different legal ROMs.
What a funny thing to say.
Wait, is anyone else seeing a sniper laser on Josh's forehead right now?
I own a physical copy of all these games. What are you talking about? And yeah, it never arrived. And when I found out why, they sent me the wrong tracking number, and it's currently in the stratosphere, disappeared somewhere. So that's
You
good.
might say it evaporated.
Yeah, the Steam Deck is literally
it became
evaporated.
Steam.
Nice.
So a fun callback to like 50 episodes ago. It's actually illegal to have ROMs in Australia to back up your own games.
That is true. I do remember.
Why did
that.
you stress illegal?
Because
What?
Josh
It
is
never
saying
used
that
to
he's
be.
got physical copies of all the games that he has ROMs of, but that doesn't. He's not covered by law over here.
What if you dump the cartridge yourself? They dump the ROM
it's-
yourself.
It's illegal here.
That's exactly still
Wild.
illegal. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No,
I mean,
unless you're in
What Pat was
cops.
trying to say, you meant like illegal, like e-girl.
So all of my ROMs are stored on Dropbox, which is actually on US servers. So
Hey, Steve, that was not what I was trying to say at all, actually.
Oh, can we
Okay,
buy some
cool, well-
illegal bathwater?
Do you think Patrick would like it better if I stressed that they were clown girls?
yes, he would.
No, it's definitely worse. Like,
Man,
I'm
this
not
has been a
saying I
train
hate
wreck of an
clowns,
episode.
but I'm also not saying I don't hate clowns.
Been a train
Seth,
wreck,
what have you
just
been up
like
to
that
this
one
week?
police officer.
Oh, God.
Now that'll date the episode.
Oh, boy.
There's your title. Fast travel train.
Fast travel train. But it took me a
okay.
second too.
Well, let's just pretend I said something really funny as a segue. Seth, what have you been up to this week?
I played God of War Ragnarok and finished it. So I'll have a fair bit to say about that. I wrote my own notes so I won't get sidetracked when I'm inevitably cut short in all of my sentences, which I'm surprised hasn't happened yet.
So you finished Ragnarok in your first week of playing it. Not the end of the world.
Not yet.
That's clever. It's not funny, but it's clever.
It's clever, but it's not funny, no.
Yeah. That wasn't the god of that joke. Cut to commercial. That wasn't funny either.
Do I
Well,
make
anyway,
a pun
what have you been
about
up to,
of
Pat?
or war? What have I been up to? I'm...
What are you going to do with all of
This has been a train wreck. Back on topic, fellas.
No, don't bring up train. It'll set Josh off.
Also, I don't know how to mark this. This is technically Round a Lounge, but it was never introduced, so I don't have a marker for it.
Hey, welcome back to part 2 of the Bumblecast. What have I been up to this week? I'm dusting off something from the archives, from the backlog. I finished Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart a month ago, but I figure now, in classic Fast Travel Lounge fashion, get to talk about the game that was released almost 2 years ago, or maybe even 2 years ago. I don't remember when it came out, but certainly not in 2023 or not in 2022, so I'll talk about that. What about you, Steve?
Well, it's it might be calling me a bit of a junkie for this one, but I've been getting a bit high on life. By
So you went
Sponge
outside,
Game.
but what did you play?
Rick and Morty the game.
Did you also punch any
okay.
women while you were playing that game?
I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew you'd fucking say it.
No, what do you
No.
mean? The minigame is to groom them.
It-
Oh god,
God.
yeah, that happened too.
Yeah, it did. It really just adds on, doesn't it? Not to mention, but Squanch Games. I mean, dude has no taste.
Look, let's just talk about the video game.
Yeah, go on, Steve. Go on to bat for Justin Roiland right now.
I'm not going to say that. No.
I'm sure just talk about the video game when Justin Roiland is 90% of that game.
Can't wait for someone to start playing Hogwarts Legacy just for us to shit on J.K. Rowling.
I was going
and
to ask
to no way mention the video game.
I was going to ask, should I actually talk about this game, giving his recent controversies? And I'm like, you know what? No, I think we'll be able to have a proper discussion about the game.
Yeah, we're all
wrong.
You're horribly wrong.
You know what? Look, is that the
We can't
time?
even have a proper discussion about games that don't have sex offenders as 90% of the games.
Now, let's be fair.
You know
Actually,
what?
no, wait, no,
hold
grooming
up,
is
hold up,
sex offense.
Seth, hold up. I can't believe I'm saying this. Josh has been gone for months. He comes back 13 minutes into an episode. He gets a take right.
Yeah, it's true. What the
It
hell?
really is Ragnarok.
Witness protection training really did pay
it
off.
really is Ragnarok. Josh spelled Jawsh is the thing that the Norse mythology was worried about to end the world. And you know what? I think they were right. Cool. Well, even though if you didn't mark it, Seth, I did. Boom. Round the lounge finished. Bang on 6 minutes. Awesome. That's an 80% speed run. Actually, 100% speed run. 80% would just be me introducing it. Moving on. Anyway, why don't we hit God of War first?
All right, sure.
First or the second one?
I hate
Well, if
him.
it's the first one, I get to hear you talk more, and I don't know if I don't know if that's what the audience wants. So
No. We can do Ragnarok.
Okay, yeah, let's go into Josh talking about the first one for
What? No. We can do Ragnarok. I apologize. Let's just do Ragnarok.
No, it's fine. No, we'll split the difference. We'll get into God of War Ragnarok in a sec. But Josh, if you could just give us a quick 30-minute recap on 2018.
30-minute recap on 2018.
What do you mean? You had a whole
We
slide
spent
deck.
it all inside.
You
We've
had
got 30 minutes to talk about. Oh, that was 2019, wasn't it? God,
That was 2020.
Oh, 2019 and 2020. Oh, it
Nope,
started in
2019 was fine with
2019.
colour.
What? November? Did not
No.
lock down?
Nope, it was like February.
Oh, fuck.
We were inside because of the bushfires around December.
Oh, that's right. There was another fucking crisis at that point in the life.
Don't forget, we,
Good old
Us
Scotty
gamers stay
went to
inside by
Hawaii
choice.
while the bushfires were happening.
All I'm saying, Josh enters witness protection and changes his name, and then suddenly it feels like Ragnarok in Australia. All I'm saying.
Anyway,
So anyway,
Two
Seth,
giant
wait,
wolves
so what
catching
are
a
we
sun on
doing?
the
This,
moon.
am I having like a schizophrenia moment? Like, what are we?
You are, but don't worry. I'm here to guide you through this episode. Seth's going to talk about Ragnarok. Go, Seth.
Okay, so everyone kind of gets the idea that I wasn't really big on 2018 and God of War 2018. God of War Ragnarok kind of is like one step forward, two steps back for me in that, holy shit, the story and the characters and the writing is so much better in this game for me. But everything else that I didn't like the combat system and the RPG elements, they didn't just double down on those. They tripled down on everything. They made everything way more customizable. Everything's becoming more and more armor and upgradable. It's such a big headache, and I think a lot of that comes from how much they also just kind of expanded the game.
So do you mean that in like the negative, they're padding out the game with the shit I don't like, or they've tried something cool to do and it doesn't vibe with me?
The armor stuff feels like padding, but I also feel like they had to do that in concession with what was actually good expansion in that you visit every realm in this game, and basically all of them is a little mini map with their own like really long narrative set piece level, and then a big open area for you to go around, explore, do side quests, just get a lay of the land, get some story beats, get some character moments. So they've fully expanded on all of those things. Like you get so many more big moments and small moments between everyone. Not every realm has those, but a good chunk of them do. Muspelheim and Niflheim still kind of get the short end of the stick. Helheim is still kind of a regular level, but there's other ones that get expanded out nicer. And yeah, I feel like because of how much they've expanded on the levels, they've also had to expand on the armor system. So instead of everything upgrading like 3 or 4 times, there's more armor sets than there were in the last game, and all of them can be upgraded to level 9. And
Yuck.
yeah, and all of them have their own sort of little perks, and it just kind of becomes a headache. And I think they knew that, because at the end of the game, I just had maxed out default gear that you get at the very beginning of the game, and those stats still basically even out with other armor throughout the game. In fact, I kind of prefer it because it doesn't even spread of your stats through all of the different stats. Like, it increases your vitality, luck, runic, strength, and vitality and everything, while other ones will just like focus in 2 or 3 stats. But the trade-off is that the default gear doesn't have like perks attached to them, while the other ones do have perks. Like, there'll be ones that are like, oh hey, if you dodge at the right timing, then you'll activate the phase shift, which slows down the enemies for you to get a bunch of hits in. That stuff didn't really matter to me in the end. They give you a talisman at the very beginning of the game, which is just, hey, if you press L1 and circle, you just get a increase to your strength for 5 seconds. And that was the only one I used the entire game. Everything else just seemed weird to me. Like, there was one that was also activate phase shift whenever you want. There was one that's a big AoE attack, and it's like, yeah, but I just kind of preferred a little buff in strength for that little extra bit of time that they give you.
So do you think that's a you problem because you ooga boogiered your way through with just that strength thing, or are the other ones just not fun to play around? Like, did you try the other one?
I tried the other ones. They weren't for me. I get that they're all for different people's different playstyles or like mixing up toolkits. But again, it was just kind of like this customization ability isn't what I come to God of War for. And I didn't get anything out of the other ones. So it was just kind of like, yeah, I'll just stick with the strength one because I'll just unga bunga everything.
Yeah, those when I played 2018, like 6 months ago, the customization is not very good. It's arguably the worst part of the game.
Yeah.
It is the worst part of the game, I think. I don't even think there's anything that comes close to that being as bad as that, to be honest, in that game.
Yeah, like it's almost, I would probably prefer, instead of upgrading, you find like an upgraded armor set. If that makes sense, like instead of crafting material, you find like a better armor.
Yeah,
that kind of just happens over the course of 2018 anyway, I feel like. Well,
it doesn't. Towards the end,
you find parts, but
yeah, towards the end, I did upgrade some.
But it's because of the customization. Well, not the customization, but how everything is balanced more in Ragnarok, and it's more about playstyle and customization than it just hard upgrading. Every armor set in this game is fairly balanced with one another, so you can just find something you like and then just stick with that and upgrade it.
Yeah, I guess that's this might touch wood. This might sound like a Josh take, but I guess I don't really understand the complaint there then, because so I am somewhere in the middle of Ragnarok. I have no idea how long I have left. And to be honest, I haven't touched it in like a month and a half, so I don't really remember what my armor or weapon situation is. But something like Monster Hunter, for example, shit ton of armor sets. All of them, particularly the late game ones, have particular perks and things. And there's generally a need to hot swap pieces either for what you're fighting or for a particular playstyle. The complaint sounds like, to me, here is the system which, if you're into, is great, but if you're not into it, has no detriment to the game, because as you said, you can just use the default set the whole way through. So where is the complaint? Is the complaint that having the system is detrimental to the game, or that you don't feel like you could use the system and therefore you feel like you're missing out on something?
It's more, it's not, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. It feels like it doesn't add anything to this game, in my opinion. Like, I don't think that the RPG mechanics do anything for God of War, and that's just me coming from the mindset of, I prefer God of War as an action game where you just, your upgrades are like getting new moves and getting more combat options rather than get the number higher. And if you like specific armor sets, then you get like weird random perks that just are there to justify the armor pieces being there.
Like I get that side of it, but to me it would feel like a legitimate version of that complaint would be they make you change armors, or they make you use the system that you don't want to interact with, and that detracts from the experience. Fine, accepted. I hate it when games do that. But it still sounds to me like it's a system that exists, which, because you're able to do it with default gear, has not impacted your gameplay at all. and you don't like it just for existing?
Yeah, it's more. It's there, and if you don't want to engage with it, then you don't have to. But it's one of those things where
But you hate it anyway.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you've added it to the game, it should add something to the game. If you're going to do
that
sets,
side of it, that side of it, I can accept. That's fair. That's
if
fair.
you're going to do armor sets, make it like 2018, where there's a constant increasing of level. There can be like, once you're at the legendary tier and there's like 3 different armor sets that you can pick between that are all viable, that's fine. But don't have every single armor set to be viable, because it doesn't feel good when you're really deep into the game getting new armor and it's like, yeah, but the one that I got at level 1 is better.
And here's me with every master rank armor set in Monster Hunter going, but what if I eventually want to run the iron helmet?
I think I'm the opposite to your take. I haven't obviously played Ragnarok yet, but playing 2018, I was like, well, I'm going to use just whatever the highest level armor is, regardless of the perks, and I'm not going to adjust my playstyle, so these are just fucking annoying to me. And then I had to change it for the smoky area that I can't remember what it's called right now, because you have to have a certain armor set that reduces that thing so that you can get better armor.
The tick up, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, well, now I'm being forced to use his mechanic, and I fucking hate it. So to me, 2018 was a shit version of that. And if I could just pick up an armor set and go, oh, I play by dodging, and there's one that enhances my dodging abilities, then why wouldn't I just use that? Or if there's one that increases like throwables or the runic power or whatever, then I can adjust and create a different game each time I want to play the game even. Whereas if you go back to 2018, you're going to be using the same armor sets for the same things. So I disagree.
Okay, so here's another thing about that, in that this is a fucking long game. They have all these things where it's like you can customize them through your playthrough. Different playthroughs can be different depending on how you do your armor, how you equip yourself with the armor sets. I don't think you'd ever want to play this game again after one playthrough. I think one playthrough is plenty. It'd be more like it's better if you experiment in new realms or new chapters rather than a new playthrough. It's like, it's a very weird balancing act.
Sounds terrible.
So even that point's interesting, right? Because I, as I unfortunately mentioned in the last episode, haven't finished Elden Ring yet. I intend to at some point, I swear. But a lot of people that played Elden Ring go, holy shit, this game was so amazing, I want to play it multiple times. And that game's fucking ginormous.
Yeah, it is. I started playing that again recently. It's so good.
What's the difference to you in that, Seth? In that, where's the line between wanting to play it again and not wanting to play it again? Because both games are very big.
Elden Ring is more of a gameplay-focused game, while this is more of a narrative-driven game. So you can't skip the cutscenes in this game. So you'll have like a good experience the first time, and you'll be like, oh yeah, there's these slow moments where it's paced really slowly. I was getting like flashbacks of the latest season of Stranger Things. I think it's season 4.
Yeah, season 4 is the latest one.
Yeah, where they're really long and drawn out, but like it feels like everything's paced slow and drawn out for a deliberate reason, and you're engaged with every little detail that's going on. I see. I would never want to sit through like there's one section that's like 2 to 3 hours long. I would never want to sit through that section again on another playthrough, and there's no way to skip it. So it's just like a replay would be like, yeah, going through all these slow, deliberate cutscenes that are like unfolding the mystery that works well the first time you're playing the game, but on a second playthrough would be kind of mind-numbing. While Elden Ring...
Speaking of cutscenes, just super quickly, it just reminded me of a fantastic Easter egg from 2018. One of the really early scenes with Boulder in it, when he gets introduced, I don't remember which specific scene. I think it's somewhere around the first fight. Couldn't tell you the exact cut though, where Boulder's not on screen, but his model is still in the environment. And so it might have been when they did the PC port, but someone was able to break out of the fixed camera view for that cutscene, and they rotated it around, and Boulder's standing behind the camera just pulling the finger with both hands at Kratos.
That's excellent.
That's so good.
I knew you were going to say finger too for some reason. It felt right.
It did the rounds on the internet a few months ago when someone discovered it. But no, I just want to bring it up again because that's such a good Easter egg, because it'll never be found until someone breaks out of the camera like that. But sorry, Zap, continue. It was I had to say that when you brought it up.
Yeah. So it's just like this being a narrative-driven game and having long, drawn-out moments and long cutscenes to sit through. I don't think it works well for a second playthrough. while Elden Ring is much more gameplay focused. And after the first playthrough, you kind of know where you're going now, and you know what thing do you want to hit up, what thing do you want to ignore. So it's just more playing through the game again for the sake of playing through it again, and it'll be more uninterrupted than the first playthrough would be.
Speaking of interruptions,
okay, so a message from our sponsor. No?
yeah. That would have been so good, eh? Just integrated sponsorship segment right here. Krispy Kreme Ford Truck Month.
God, Ford Truck Month. It's been like 6 months.
It's coming back, baby. So we've talked about the things that made Ragnarok less good in terms of its length and replayability and armor.
There's one more thing I want to hit on that's a negative, and then I can just go into positives if that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, the last thing I want to bring up as a negative is this is going back to the armor system a little bit as well. They fucked with the shield in this game. In 2018, your shield just did everything. It parried well, you got counterattacks, you had certain attacks that came in through upgrades. And this game broke it into 4 shields. So you begin with one shield that's good at parrying and one shield that's good at defense. The defense one is what was usually a parry only attack that you could go through, or like if you weren't good enough at parrying, then just dodge out the way. The yellow ring attacks, you can just block those with the defensive shield. While the parry shield is basically everything knocks you out of block stance. But if you're very good at parrying, then you can use the double tap L1 attack, which is an awful attack, by the way. I fucking hate that attack. I think it feels awful to double tap L1 to have something come out. Parrying with that shield will increase the effectiveness of that attack. And then later on in the game, I won't say how long it takes. You get a shield that after parrying, you can press R1 or R2 to do your counter attacks with it. And I feel like it took way too long for that to come back, because that's a core part of like how I play the game. How I played 2018 was using the counter attacks really heavily. But there was also one other thing, which was in 2018, you had an attack where if you held down the R1 button, Kratos would do a spin with the shield to hit people, and then it would do like a wind up and he'll punch into the shield to do a shockwave attack. That's been turned into its own separate shields now, so they've taken away a part of the shield moveset to make that its own shield instead. And it's a weird step back in how the shield works, and is kind of like, I feel like it's part of that whole hindrance of they tripled down on the RPG mechanics and the edit how you play Kratos sort of thing. And I think just the one shield in 2018 worked a lot better than having 4 different options to choose from in Ragnarok.
Wasn't the shield like in the earlier God of War? Didn't he get that shield from some god or something as well? Wasn't it like a particular shield? Or am I overthinking this?
There's a shield weapon that you get in the other ones, but this one specifically in these in the Norse games was a gift from his wife.
Oh, for some reason I thought it was the shield you had in the earlier God of Wars.
Nah.
Okay. Well, I'm more fine with them fucking with it now then. But still, it's a bit weird.
I don't care now.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Santa Monica? Josh gave us thumbs up. Continue fucking with the shield. Josh.
Yeah. So what's
JAOOSH.
Well, we talked about the gameplay, and that
I still got a little bit to talk about.
You still got more thing to say? All right, well, you're running out of time, big fella.
I've got one more thing to say about the gameplay, and then this is a positive for the gameplay. So something I do like is that they've upgraded the move pool that the Leviathan Axe and the Blades of Chaos have now, and what was runic attacks in the last game, they've implemented into just being base moveset attacks in this game. Like there was one runic attack in the last game where Kratos drags the axe across the floor, and it makes like a shockwave of a line of ice shards that poke out of the ground and stun enemies. That just became part of the moveset now. It's just holding R1 now, and he'll rake the axe across the floor and do that attack. So props on them. Taking old special moves and just implementing them into the game now is pretty cool. There's also a new mechanic where if you hold down the triangle button while the weapons are in your hand, you'll upgrade them to start doing elemental attacks. So you hold down the triangle button and ice covers a Leviathan Axe, and your throws will do buffed out damages, or your attacks will do like ice elemental type attacks. You can also do the same thing with the Blades of Chaos. They ignite on fire, and you get special moves out of that. Blades of Chaos also got an essential buff where you can use them to either pull enemies towards yourself or pull yourself towards enemies. One of my favorite moves from God of War 2 and 3, where if an enemy is up in the air, you can grab them and you'll just yank them down into the floor and bounce them to do even more damage. That coming back is fantastic. Love that move so much. I use it a lot to just send enemies into their grave. Yeah, so upgrades to the move kit is very much appreciated. And that's it for the gameplay, I think. Yeah, that's it for the gameplay.
Is it still like you get those puzzles and it's like, hey, as soon as you walk in, you have like 2 seconds to look around, and then you've got Atreus that's like, hey, you should do this. And he's like,
yeah, no, that happened a fair few times as well. And they also have bugs in combat, like you'll be set on fire, and Atreus will yell, oh, hey, you're on fire, but you probably already knew that. Or Mimir will yell, yeah, Kratos, you're on fire, but it'll pass. And it's like, yeah, I kind of figure I'm on fire because Kratos is on fire. I don't need a call out for that.
I have eyes. Yeah.
One more thing about gameplay. This is very, very quick. They kind of removed the red and blue enemies from this game. So there were certain enemies in 2018 where you could, if they were on fire, you could only hurt them with the Leviathan axe. And if they were covered in ice, you could only hurt them with the Blades of Chaos. And that was just...
Yeah, I like that.
I hate
diversity.
That. I hate
that.
Too. It locks you into using that specific weapon. You can do cool things. No. Those specific enemies were their entire health bar was stuck like that.
Yeah, but like it's into the next wave or the next area. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I arguing different things.
This game pulled back on that, so now enemies can get shielded, and they'll have the elemental shields. And then once you take out the shield, then you can open up and do any weapon you want on them. So it's a kind of like a slight pullback on those.
So they made a Genshin combat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any spoiler-free set pieces or story bits that you want to hit?
So get this right. It's the end of the world, and that's why it's called Ragnarok.
And it's directed by Taika Waititi.
They start out very hard and heavy at the beginning of the game. You're getting attacked by Freya right away, and then you transition to meeting Odin and Thor. You get into the Thor fight, and it's basically this game's version of the first Boulder fight, where it's like, these are the stakes. This is the big guy that you're going to go against. Odin's already like trying to manipulate Atreus. And
do we want to mention what happens during the Thor fight?
No. Let's save those surprises for people who play for the first time, because I think those are fantastic set pieces that happen in that, and I don't want to ruin it for other people like it was ruined for me.
Oh, yeah, okay, understandable.
Wait, so is it set pieces in the terms of the grand design of the graphics?
We're not saying anything. We're not saying anything.
Okay, no, that's fair. Fuck you. I'll play it myself when I eventually get a PS5 in 40 years' time.
Phase transitions will have
it's
set
on
pieces.
PS4 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is on PS4 as well.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I'm pretty certain.
But a spoiler-free setup of the game is that after Thor and Odin come to visit Kratos and Boy, Odin is like, oh, hey, you better not go get Tyr. I'll do a peace treaty if you don't go get Tyr. And so you set out on a quest to go find Tyr, the god of war for the Norse mythology, who everyone presumed
just
was
like the title of the game.
Yeah, because the Giants' prediction is that Tyr is going to lead the armies of all the realms to Ragnarok, and so Atreus is like war hungry. He wants to go to war. He wants to fulfill his prophecy of being the one to kill Odin. So he's very much in this like state of proving himself and wanting to start Ragnarok. And Kratos is like, no, you don't understand what war is. You think this is going to be some sort of great battle where you become a hero, but the consequences are going to take a toll on you. And Atreus is having none of that.
Yeah, God, he's never been in a war.
So it basically goes back to being a little shit like the middle of 2018. God, I wanted to drop kick him off that mountain, I swear to God.
Well, it was good when he came through the other end. It was like for lack of a better analogy, like a big hard poop. Like it feels really bad when it's in your tummy, but when you poop it out, it feels good. I will not explain anymore.
And yeah, because I think I've gone over time, final thoughts. Story absolutely pulled the weight for this game. I came away from it liking it more than 2018 just for the story alone. It actually made me, even though all the other parts of the game I thought was worse than the last one, the story alone was like, yeah, no, I like this way more. Never touching either of these games again. 7 out of 10. It's all right.
Oh my god.
7 out of 10's more than all right.
That's... Who was the one with Josh takes? Were we renaming them? Or?
You missed out last week where I had to give an actual Josh take because you haven't been around for like 20 weeks.
God damn.
Shit's changed, Holmes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man, you really think you know someone then.
I definitely recommend it though. It's just for the story alone, it's worth playing both of these games.
Would it be better as a movie or a TV show?
No.
One starring Pedro Pascal on HBO Max.
Pedro
But
Pascal
with tentacles instead of gods.
I'm pretty sure they are making a God of War TV show for the record.
Yeah, they've probably been saying it the last 10 years. Just like that, just spoiler of the news, the Borderlands show. That's coming out, isn't it?
Yeah, the Borderlands movie.
Who's the kid that plays Spider-Man that's in every fucking movie lately?
Tom Holland.
He's in the Uncharted one. Tom Holland. It'll just be with Tom Holland as Atreus.
I gotta go.
Tom Holland as Atreus is actually funny. I was prepared for you to say Kratos.
No, God, no.
Tom Holland.
Someone like the Mountain from Game of Thrones would be fucking great.
Other way. Ever since Kevin Hart being cast as Roland in the Borderlands film, I just think of Kevin Hart as like, because he's normally the sidekick character, right? Imagine him as the action hero, like as the action hero role.
Him as Kratos.
Kevin Hart is
the
no
guy
Kratos.
that's pale white.
Kevin
What's the
Hart,
opposite of blackface?
Kevin Hart as Kratos, The Rock as Atreus.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Yes.
But like the whole time they never acknowledge that Kevin's smaller.
They do the camera tricks to make him look bigger.
Oh, that'd
He's
actually
just
be really
constantly
good.
on a box.
He's just right in front of the camera while The Rock is like 20 feet back.
Yeah, or in every shot with The Rock, they've just had to like dig holes for his legs, and he's just like on his knees.
Jesus Christ, what a horrific movie.
It's just The Rock, but he's in the Black Adam costume because that was such a flaw. He has to bring it somewhere else.
Even better. The Rock isn't Atreus. He's Mimir, but it's not just the head. It's the full it's the whole The Rock just attached to the side of Kevin Hart.
Just attached to the belt. They drag him along the floor. The Rock plays Freya.
Okay, I'll say it. The Rock plays every character. The Rock plays every character, including the wolves.
Except for Nicolas Cage plays Mimir.
Kevin Hart plays the dead giant that has the giant pick in the ground. But it's actual Kevin Hart size.
It's Chris Pratt playing Mimir, but it's just his regular voice rather than Mimir's distinctive accent.
But he does a social
Mimir.
media post 6 months before they showed the trailer where he does his normal voice and he promises that's not the voice.
And then, lo and behold, it's the voice. God, hypotheticals are making me sad.
You know, you're onto something with Chris Pratt here, but what if it was Tina from Bob's Burgers?
As who?
As Mimir.
As Chris Pratt.
As Kratos.
Yeah, I can see that working.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen plays not Sindri, Brock.
that would actually work so well.
That would actually be pretty good. Yeah, I'm not upset about that one.
Him or Jonah Hill?
Yes.
Who would play their brother? Who would play whatever his name is?
Sindri.
Michael Cera.
Oh my god.
Oh,
You know what? I'd watch
holy
that.
shit.
That image just came to my mind after I said Jonah Hill for
My guy, you fucking soul read the cast of God of War 2018, the movie.
Oh my god.
All I'm saying is Sony's been real quiet on announcing who's in that film, and I think I know why.
I can imagine Michael Cera doing the whole like ill germs, I'm not going to touch it thing as well. It would work really well.
Oh yeah, no, he's perfect as that type of character. It's his only role.
That's true. Either that or awkward teenager despite being like in his 30s.
Atreus, but it's the voice of H. John Benjamin.
Who's that?
I don't know who that is either.
Archer.
Yeah.
Archer. Oh,
yeah.
Or Bob from Bob's Burgers. To take
Yeah, that's right. I always get that same
you
word.
pick up Mimir's head. Don't leave the head here. Do you want answers? How you get answers?
He does some sort of sick call
Go ahead.
mid-battle.
Are we not doing phrasing? Yeah.
Yeah,
Can we get Seth
Shame there's no
MacFarlane
Mallory
as
voice.
Mimir?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
No, it's flat out no.
He can do a
Stick to
guest
something
read,
again,
but I'm not going to commit.
He can do
Some
all his
podcasting
different.
choice, Seth. You're on a roll.
His natural Mimir voice is Quagmire, but he does Peter and Brian and Stewie and everyone else when he's telling stories.
All right, you know what? I'm back on board. I mean, that just makes me think, Matt Stone and Trey Parker just voicing everyone in God of War.
It'd also be excellent while on acid.
Yeah. No. It's them voicing it, but they're getting told what the lore is, and they're still on acid. Yeah, and they're just being recorded live.
You gotta leave like the people telling them what the lore is, and they just Kratos just standing there, and you can't move him while it's happening.
Do have to give props though. Is it Christopher Judge? Is it the voice actor?
Yes.
Christopher Judge, yeah, he does a good job.
Yeah,
He does, and his acceptance speech at the Game of the Year awards, while long, was really good. Like
but Seth, was it as long as Ragnarok or?
No, unfortunately, it got pretty close, but Ragnarok edges it out.
Unfortunately, you wanted to speak for more.
Listen, that man took that stage, and he was not leaving till he was done. And props to him. I think he owned it.
Respect the hustle.
Yeah, fair enough.
Actually, on that note though, I think it's a shame that only the main characters get put up for Voice Actor of the Year because there's a character in this game that kills it, and I think he outperformed everyone else.
I'm not at that point yet, but I think I know which one.
That's fair.
No spoilers. I will play
no
this when it goes
spoilers
on sale.
because he starts killing it at a very spoiler-specific moment.
At the end of the world.
Is it when he does a Jim look at the camera and says, "Now I'm the God of War"?
Yes. I am the Ragnarok.
No, he just says, "I am the Rock."
Can you smell what I'm cooking? And then leaves.
The Nine Realms, that's what he's cooking.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Alright, I think this hypothetical's long
probably, yeah, I probably should move on.
How many times have you tried to move on, actually?
Almost as... you know what?
You really just want to add one to the counter, huh?
There was a start of the segue, and then I realized the segue... I'm putting down the shovel. Steve, talk about High on Life.
Well, just before you move on, God of War Ragnarok is out on PS4, so...
I told you.
He's been sitting there. He's been sitting there for 15 minutes just waiting for a break so he can say that.
Yep. Didn't want to interrupt. Anyway,
Michael Sarah, rah, and he's like, it is on PS4.
I've been quietly seething. Anyway, so High on Life. So High on Life is, as I said before, essentially Rick and Morty, the video game.
With domestic abuse?
And sexual assault.
All right, but both those are true of the creator, not the game itself.
I mean, the game is just him. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, very true. So essentially, High on Life, the premise is that you're some loser kid that does nothing but play video games all day.
Oh, geez, Rick.
Your parents go away for the weekend and leave you and your sister
is this
alone.
what the next 20 minutes is going to be, Josh?
Sorry.
Yeah, but buckle yourself in. And then, like, while you and your sister are sort of like hanging out, aliens like abduct your house because they've worked out a way that to turn humans into a drug, and it's like the best drug in the entire world.
Yeah, you're literally getting high off other people's lives.
Yep, that's the words out of my mouth, my friend.
That is the pun of the title.
Yeah, and there's also like a drugstore called High on Life because humans aren't the only living creatures that they use to get high. It's like, when you think about it, it's pretty fucked up, and it's an NPC that pretty much says it, but it's like, hey, got to get your fix from somewhere, right?
So essentially
this
don't.
game, right?
Well, if you think about it, plants are living creatures.
So this game is essentially a first-person shooter. There is no open world. There's a bit of a hub world and a bit of, for lack of a better word, almost like Metroidvania elements. But thank God it's not open world. Very good. It wouldn't have worked as an open world game.
So hang on. So just describe how the Metroidvania concept works. If the levels are like, are you saying that levels are linear, but they're also Metroidvania? Or
so the levels are linear in the sense that the first time you go there, you've got an objective and it's essentially a corridor. But then as you get different guns, which talk to you, Gatlings or whatever they're called. You can get different power-ups and abilities that allow you to reach other areas. So
Yeah, it's essentially like split paths that take you down different story pathways, right?
No, too generous. It's essentially you've got a corridor and then you've got like a little side path that's like a dead end that you quickly go pick up a treasure chest, and that treasure chest gives you a bit more money. And then you're back on the story path.
Yeah, there's not really that much to it.
Yeah, like it's not, it's branching paths in the sense of there's somewhere else to go, but there is a corridor to walk down.
It's like you're playing a game and you walk the opposite direction first because you know there'll be a treasure chest down the other side. That's all it is.
I meant like in the sense of you go down like the level one time and you'll have like one story path, and then when you go back, there's like the other path you could have seen, but you needed another gun to go down it. And then once you go down it, that's a separate linear path to go down the second storyline, basically, right?
No. There is no. Every level is essentially one storyline.
Wow, 0 for 2, Saif. This must be embarrassing for you.
You're giving it too much. You're giving it too much credit. Like, think of it like when you revisit an area.
It's a sex offender, okay? Like he's not that.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
So what you're saying is the lower number of paths, the better for him.
Well, yeah. He is famous for dealing with things in low numbers. 17, I think.
Yike. No, so if you do go back and visit an area, you might have access to like a higher platform or a different area to sort of go in, find a treasure chest, get more money, come back. It's not like there aren't sort of like forked paths that sort of cul-de-sac into another path. It is you'll visit one area for one story beat, which the story beats are bounties because you've got to go through 5 or 6 bounties. You kill the person you're supposed to beat, and then you're back to the hub world. You pick up you upgrade your weapons and equipment. You progress the story. You're back on the next. But for all intensive purposes, I like that. It was sort of good to play a game it's like, yeah, this is what you got to do. Don't bother with side quests and don't worry about. There is like a little bit of an exploration, but not too much. And I do sort of think the exploration is very generous because all this is sort of poking around and being like, oh, there's a treasure chest over there. I've got to work out how to get there. Or even if I've got the power up to work there. And that's probably works in the game's favor because essentially when it comes to combat, you're essentially in like a combat arena. You kill all the enemies, and then you're on to the next combat arena. So that exploration to find other money to upgrade the equipment is break up the combat a little bit, but then at the same time it is very one note. It is like, oh yeah, cool, I just got to jump, or I've got to go the long way around to come back. But there are some treasure chests that were like just out of my reach, and I spent probably a bit too much time looking for the solution, but it turns out the solution was that I didn't have it because it was a power up, and that was very frustrating. But that is what. So the combat itself is very generic first-person shooter. The very big difference here, is probably everybody's seen in the gameplay trailers, is that the guns talk to you, for better or worse.
They added an option in the first week so that you can make it so that they talk to you less, because that was very frustrating.
See, I didn't think it was. It
wasn't frustrating until they started repeating themselves.
Yeah, and maybe because I wasn't in the combat. Like, I'm not going to say that I'm the best at video games, but I wasn't in a combat encounter for that long. I didn't get to that point when they would start to repeat themselves. Like, there was a couple of times if the combat went for a little bit too long, the gun would pretty much remind me, like, hey, don't forget to use my special
blob thing.
Yeah, like, don't forget to use that. And he would have said it like 2 or 3 times in like one encounter out of like 10 or 20 or so. And I was like, oh, that's a bit annoying. But then that's it. But the guns are talking about things in context to the encounter. Like if you're killing like a certain enemy, like, oh yeah, we're killing these guys again. Like there's a bunch of ant enemies at the start, and it's like, oh man, you think they carry 4 guns instead of 6? Oh, sorry, 4 guns instead of 1 because they've got more hands, but they don't. So I guess they must be low-level enemies or something. Maybe later on they'll have more guns. And it's that type of fourth wall breaking humor that really carries the game. because there is nothing that gameplay wise or mechanically that this game does different to any other first person corridor based shooter like a Doom Eternals or Doom 2016 or anything like in that sort of era. And that's
there's nothing else like it except, and then you name both Doom games.
Yeah. Well, I don't really play these type of games usually, so almost like a BioShock type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
That's probably a better example. But yeah, the humor is the thing you're going to play this game for. And as someone who really does like Rick and Morty humor in small doses, I'll admit, like one episode a day, I really found this game very. But at the same time,
that's an interesting thing to think about because you're like, yeah, I like Rick and Morty for like one episode a day, and this is. I also know that you play games in a short burst, but this is basically like a 8 or 9 hour long Rick and Morty episode you can go through in one sitting, which I guess people can also binge Rick and Morty, like a season of Rick and Morty in one go. But even then, that's like 4 hours, I think, Rick and Morty usually goes for. So this is double the length of a Rick and Morty season.
Essentially. But don't forget, though, like the funniness and the humor and the dialogue is broken up by the combat and the combat area. Like, it's not always talk. It's talk, combat. Sometimes there's a little bit of talking during the combat. Oh, that was funny. And then you sort of go on. And I thought that was... I thought it was good. You're right. I probably was playing this game an hour and a half, 2 hours maximum in bursts. And there were some certain sections, like the combat is very samey, especially at the start when you've only got access to like one gun. It's like, oh, nothing's really changed here. Oh, another group of enemies. Oh, nothing's. I'm getting a bit bored now. Then as you do get more guns and more power up, well, the guns come with their own power up. Like it sort of does get a bit more diverse. But at the same time, there's only 4 guns, really. 5 guns on the 5th gun you get in the last level. Spoiler alert. But it
generally one of the best jokes I saw from that game was when you get the 5th gun.
What was it? The game's got a lot of jokes.
Just about his name. I don't want to spoil it if Josh isn't there yet. I'm
probably not playing it, to be honest. I played the first couple of hours and went, it's not really for me.
Okay, fair. It's basically the 5th gun. They have to repair it, and his name's Les Dewitt, and they're like, yeah, so I repaired the gun, but there's a problem. He's terminally brain damaged, and so the only thing he can say is "Let's do it."
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I didn't think that was funny at all.
I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah, different jokes, I guess.
Hey, Saif, brain damage is a serious thing that affects 1 out of 4 podcast hosts, all right? So let's
I'm
just...
one with the brain damage because I generally thought that the "Let's do it" joke was great. And it has a good payoff right at the end if the moral choice at the end of the game they want you to do.
The fuck do you mean a moral choice in a Rick and Morty game?
You finished it, right, Steve?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of the game, you beat the final boss and you're stuck in a situation where it's like, well, the bomb inside his anus isn't detonating. One of the guns has to be sacrificed to go in there. The Morty gun is doing the whole self-sacrifice hero thing. And you don't have to use him. You can pull out any of the other guns. So it's like you go to the Needler gun and she's like, oh no, don't you fucking dare do it to me. You pull out any of the other 2 guns and they're also like, yeah, don't do it to me. But then you pull out Let's Do It and he's just he's just let's do it.
It's pretty good.
Also the joke before that with I found the 2 most important people in the world to you was pretty good. They're like, the final boss traps you and he's like, I'm going to do something real fucked up. I'm going to get the 2 people you love most in the world and get them right here and kill them. And
he's been taunting you the entire game about this, and you're like, oh fuck, like
yeah,
he's got mom and dad. Oh shit.
Yeah, and he pulls out to Jack Black and another actress.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's like, I don't know who these people are. And it's like,
not Bowser.
What? But I asked everyone who they loved in the world, and everyone said these 2 people. And it's like, yeah, all of humanity loves them, but it's like, they're not the most important people to me.
Yeah,
I love how I love how you open that with the two most important people to you, and then you say Jack Black and an actress.
Yeah,
I forgot who the
no
actress
idea who it
was.
is.
And they actually got them to come in and voice lines for it. It's literally just, hey, my name's Jack Black. I'm here.
It's Jack Black and Susan Sarandon.
Oh my god,
That's great.
what a weird pick for the second one.
Yeah, I know.
No, that's great. That's such a good pick.
Yeah,
It is a good pick.
Yeah, and
it's just odd.
Yeah, and this type of funny situations are the ones that like blindside you that you don't see coming. And the humor is really good.
Don't see coming. I'm not gonna make the joke, but it's there. Just be aware.
Let's do it.
Sure.
Let's do it.
No, Justin, no.
Well, yeah, and that's essentially what this game comes down to. Like, if you really do like the Rick and Morty humor, this game is for you. But the gameplay itself is very mid. Like the thing that works in its favor, makes it more simpler, is that there's no like you've got infinite ammo for all your weapons. So like you do have to reload them, but you don't have to worry about like picking up any ammo canisters or anything, which doesn't really force you to use any other guns. So realistically, the first gun you get, just like a standard pistol, it's pretty much the one that I stuck with, because the other ones, like the shotgun's sort of good at close range, but didn't really buy with it. The needler's all right, but easier to use the pistol. And there's one that like gives mind control to the enemies, and that sort of gets a bit wiggy towards the end, because it's like, this would be faster if I was using the pistol. And it's just, there's no grenades.
Not even to kill them, just to kill you.
Yeah, pretty much. Get me out of here. There's no grenades that make the combat more complex. There's no reason that I would go to the other guns if I ran out of ammo or something, or to conserve ammo. And I honestly think that is a step in the right direction for this game, because the combat doesn't have much depth there, and with 4 different guns, and you get the guns over the space of the game. So essentially there's like 5 or 6 bounty hunter quests. So by the time you've done 60-70%
Is that
of
all
the game,
there is? God,
Yeah,
I must be
yeah.
a decent way through the game without realizing it then. What the heck?
it gets a bit. There's like 5 bounty hunter quests, but like some of them they get longer towards the end.
So still, they're not
yeah.
really that long. How long was the game, do you think, to beat?
About 8-9 hours.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, I'm further through than I thought I was.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
we only said that multiple times in the segment, but say it again for the people in the
that
back.
out, apparently.
but
No, I'm
the
going to
same
keep
time-
that in and make you look like a dickhead.
All right, well, it's nothing fucking new, is it, Chet?
but yeah, like it's. I think that length is another point in the game's favor. Like it, by the end of it, you're sort of like, I'm sort of over it. Like it doesn't do anything new, and I don't think I would want the game to go for any longer. The writing towards the end of it does get a bit stale, and it's like, what's going to happen here? Oh, it's exactly what I thought it was.
He was too busy, making out his role models like Louis C.K.
Did you get the sequel bait ending?
Sequel bait.
No, I did not, but I will. It's you just got to do a couple of things, and you've got to look at. I looked it up online and I watched it. But will there be a sequel to this?
Probably not
I don't
after
know
the domestic
Yeah, I
abuse
was gonna say.
allegations.
He can write a
Yeah.
story in prison.
It's not just Justin Roiland, by the way. It's like it came out that Squanch Games, like a producer there, also had a not a domestic abuse, a sexual harassment case against like an employee there was going against a producer, and that got settled in court in like 2019.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if like should there be a sequel to this? I don't really
Would
think
you
so.
like a sequel?
If they gave a major uphaul of the combat, yes. It does get quite grindy, especially towards the end when they're just sending wave after wave after wave of enemy at you.
What if they expanded it, but they gave you like 1 million sets of armor to choose from, and you could upgrade all of them to level 9?
Yeah,
Would that be an improvement?
probably not. That would probably be too much in the other direction.
What if when they were sending
Interesting.
wave after wave of men at their own disposal, it was just that Brannigan being the evil boss?
I know you're onto
Mm.
Yeah. That was the one thing that stuck out. Is there an overarching bad guy, or is the
Yes.
Jack Black Susan Sarandon? So that's the overarching bad guy.
No. The overarching bad guy is what's his name? Starts with the G, Gummantuous or something like that. So essentially, what you're doing is you're up against a cartel, the G3 cartel, and you're going through and killing all their leaders to get to Gummantuous, because Gummantuous is harvesting humans to sell for drugs, essentially.
Wonder if there was a version of this where they tried to call it G2, but then after the human trafficking shit with Andrew Tate, they're like, why don't we just call it G3?
They also like to point out that the younger the person, the better the high.
Yeah, and there's like
that doesn't
God.
age well.
It's a fucking allegory. Oh god.
And there's like one scene where you got to like sort of sneak into the headquarters, and it's like you're going past all these.
It's a
blobs that are,
bedroom.
Like, well, it's like a spa or something, and like like just before like you start wigging out and just start shooting everybody, like one of the just people there is like, oh, give me one of these babies. They taste really nice, and like looking back on it, it was like,
Oh boy.
yeah. Even at the time, it was a bit like, well, like I sort of understand the humor they were going for in that. Like they're smoking humans. Why would it just be adult humans to be baby? And it's a bit more shock value than the rest of the game sort of gives you. And
Dead baby jokes are so 2008. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're
Move
right.
on.
Yeah, but then at the same time, that kind of shock factor sort of alerts you into like, you know what, this is fucked up. I'm not going to sit here and just watch these guys fuck around. We're just going to shoot everybody in the head.
Remember, no Russian.
Yeah, it's essentially that. It's that in fucking space.
The reason I bring up the ultimate bad guy thing is just because gameplay elements aside, the humor and the story and the overarching bad guy, I'm getting similar vibes to Handsome Jack Borderlands 2, which is, to me, not having played High on Life, a point in its favor. If nothing else, because I want the rose-tinted nostalgia. I want to get high on the life that was me enjoying Borderlands 2. And
He doesn't interact with you in the way that Handsome Jack does frequently and humorously.
Yeah, it's not that frequently. Like it'll be like he's looking for you, and he'll like make broadcasts in the hub world or something, and be like, "Oh, who keeps killing all my guys?"
Yeah. He's not going to call in and be like, "Butt Stallion."
Butt Stallion.
From my bad memory of watching streams of it, I think it's like every 2 bounties you'll probably hear from him.
Yeah, and he's not directing it at you.
Yeah, it's more directing it at the world to find this bounty hunter.
Yeah, I will say though, like probably the second last boss is probably like the best because he does those. It breaks the fourth wall very heavily. He's like, "Oh, look, I'm totally reading your memory card. Oh, I'm Psycho Mantis. Whoa."
I'm Psycho Mantis.
Yeah, it's like,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this game doesn't have memory cards, but I'll just make some guesses. So 400 hours of Rocket League. Whoa, and you still haven't made it big. Wow, I just think you're bad at video games.
And then he's like, I'm going to unlock this achievement saying that you were in a strip club in the game for 48 hours. That'll make your friends think you're really
all
weird.
your friends are gonna know.
Does it actually unlock the achievement?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, like literally,
That's
like
fucking tops.
Yeah,
That's so
like
good.
he says it and it locks the achievement. It's like spent 48 real life hours in the strip club, and like he's like, now all your friends are gonna think you're a weirdo.
I remember seeing that achievement in an achievement list and going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Hey, nice.
And there is
That's
like
great.
for some reason they've got I think it's called Tammy and the T-Rex. It's some movie from the early 90s.
That's actually a pretty good movie. I watched most of it, and then the TV turned off in the game, and I was pretty upset, to be honest.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's in the game if you wanna. The whole movie's in the game, and there's an
You should
Yeah,
go to a
actually
theater
pay
or
for the
something.
rights to have that movie in the game.
There's 3 movies in there apparently. Tammy and the T-Rex was the one I was watching though.
Yeah, I think there's a Red
probably
Letter
do.
Media commentary as well.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, well, those are all sort of side things that it's like, oh, it's funny that they actually did this, but it's like, well, why would you type of thing? And it's sort of like being ironic to the point of, yeah, all right, you made your point, but that sort of comes down to the humor of this. It's very Rick and Morty. Like if you like Rick and Morty humor, this game's for you 100%. And I do enjoy the humor, and I really enjoyed the game. But at the same time, every
Don't
time
hit
I
your
put the
wife.
game down, yeah, that's just a general.
Finally, a video game that teaches good morals.
Yeah.
No, it's teaching the opposite. I'm saying don't do what the game says.
I thought this video game was called High on Wife. But yeah, so
Become the ultimate wife guy hitter.
I was thinking, say
Oh
hi
my
to your
gosh.
wife, but no, that was a bit far.
yeah. So
Good lord.
at the end of the day, I am very glad that this game came out day one on Game Pass, because there is no way I would have spent money on this game, but I did
Oh, yeah, that's
enjoy my
right.
experience. Yeah, because there's no way I would have paid money for this game. No fucking
Yeah,
way.
no.
I'm pretty sure
either.
this came out at full price. I need to double check that.
It probably did. And
It was
and
pretty
apparently
close to it, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
apparently
full
it's
price.
one of the biggest releases on Game Pass day one, and apparently that bumped it up on Steam to be one of the best sellers of Steam for that week. Probably just because of all the hype around it, because it's Rick and Morty guy, and it does have funny moments, and well, it's actually got a lot of funny moments. Just the gameplay itself is really lacking. So 6 out of 10 for me.
Currently $85 on Steam.
Fuck it, for 85. Anybody who just pays $85 for this game deserves everything they fucking get.
Well, what is the Steven price for this game?
We know what he gives, so we maybe don't go that far.
A game like this, I would never have bought because these kind of first-person shooter corridor type of thing aren't really my game.
But if you're going to suggest it to someone who you think would enjoy it, how high would you say the price should go?
How high would you say their life has to be?
Ooh, $20.
$20?
20? I would say I'd do up to 30, I think.
30?
In saying that, you didn't finish the game.
What? Yeah, but I know that there are people that would enjoy it that I would recommend to for $30. I wouldn't recommend it to myself.
No, I'd recommend you continue to play because the combat doesn't really change that much from hour 1 to hour 9 or 10. It doesn't change. It's essentially the same thing.
And the waves might get worse as you go through.
Yeah, there's a long section towards the end of it, and it's wave after wave after wave.
That one boss fight that's just 10 waves.
I'm think sick of it.
This might be one of the few games where I think we have all 4 quadrants on the has owned, has played. Across.
Right.
Steve has owned, has played. Saif hasn't owned but has played. Josh has owned but hasn't played, and I haven't owned and haven't played. That's crazy.
So it's just an economic right, economic left type of thing. Pop off in the comments if you think that's
don't make the joke. Don't make the joke. Don't make the joke.
I need to ask how much my brother paid for the game because I know he got it cheaper than full price.
Did he actually buy it?
I think he got it on Steam for 40 maybe.
I'd say it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so as well.
You're talking to a person that thinks full price for any game is too much.
Who's really fantastic. Buying God of War Ragnarok for $125?
Not me.
A lot of people probably. Look at the sales numbers. As much as Elden Ring was my game of the year last year, and I'm very glad I played it on close to release to interact with the community that was happening. My partner got that for me for my birthday. I never would have gotten that for my.
Do you ever think that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, Steve?
Yes,
you refuse to pay full price for games. Therefore, when you play a game, you think that the amount of enjoyment you got out of it is at whatever reduced price you bought it at. Therefore, nothing is worth full price anymore.
Yes, sort of. But because a lot of the games I bought for $5, $10, $15 on sale, but I'll buy them 3 or 4 years ago, so I can't remember how much I paid for them. So I'm not. Sometimes I'll buy games.
The regret seeped out of your body by that point.
Yeah, sometimes I'll get a game 50% off, and then I just won't play it for whatever reason, and then I'll go on to 75% off 6 months later. Then I can't even remember how much I paid for it. But yeah, high on life, 6 out of 10. What I would recommend people doing is getting a trial to Game Pass for a month and playing this game.
Holy shit, he's so relentless. He turned his review of High on Life into a shill for Game Pass.
I'm pretty sure most people did get Game Pass just to try this game. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a huge surge of Game Pass free trials and subscriptions when Starfall comes out.
Starfall comes out, and probably when Atomic Heart releases as well, I would say would be another one.
It's going to be crazy that multiple times the population of Turkey are all going to sign up to Game Pass via Turkey.
Via the Turkey VPN.
Yeah. $150 for 3 years. You literally cannot go wrong. So essentially,
my subscription ended. I need to do that.
Playing this game on release, if it's $80 in the Microsoft Store, I have literally made half of that back in a weird sort of psychologically damage yourself type of way. Let's look at it like that.
So do you remember how I was using Game Pass for 2 years and simping it to you, Steven? You're like, no, but I'll just buy games and I own them forever. And then you got Game Pass for a week and you were like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
It's the best thing they've ever done.
Well, now, because every time I buy a game now, 2 weeks later, it comes to Game Pass. So it literally yeah. So
but then you also get the opposite effect where you start something on Game Pass and then the trial, the game goes off Game Pass and you're like, fuck, I need to buy it now.
To be fair, he had 3 years to play Dragon Quest XI.
Yeah, I did have a while. And especially with a game like that, that is 80 hours long, it's well, I've got 2 weeks to play it. Can I make it? No,
I play 1 hour a day.
Yes, essentially what it came down to. I sit down after a big day of work, fall asleep on the couch. All right, time for dinner. Yeah.
Preaching to the choir. I'm like 3 hours into Tales of Arise for that exact reason.
Oh, that's where you'll end if you're anything like me and Craig. We haven't got past the first boss. We finished the first boss and went, hey, that's a really good game. And then we haven't played it since.
I went
Is it
past the
Kratos?
first.
Like so many people I know have done that.
I'm in the next dungeon after the first boss.
Oh, I think that's
Isn't
where I
Craig
ended
that
up.
gorilla
Literally.
from Xbox? From Halo?
Oh my god,
From Xbox.
gorilla.
Brute. Okay.
It's brute.
Well, all right, High on Life is this. What have you been doing, Pat? What are you talking about?
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of if I can.
No spoils though. I only just picked it up.
Oh, fuck's sake, you picked the 1 week to come. Oh.
Like minor spoilers are fine. Just don't tell me the ending.
All right, Ratchet and Clank. We'll see if
I can't believe
can...
Ratchet fucking died.
I can't believe Rivet killed him. Holy shit.
Let's see if we can do this without breaking the time limit that we hold ourselves to the strict standard of with each of these finely curated episodes. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart came out some time ago. 8 out of 10. I liked it. Anyway, let's move on.
I think I gave it a similar score. I was like 9 out of 10. Okay. Actual follow-up question to that. Where do you rank it in the pantheon of Ratchet and Clank games?
Yeah, so the 8 out of 10 actually just threw out. I think it probably would be closer to 9. It's difficult because it's the first Ratchet and Clank game that I've played in ages, and the games that I played before this was the original trilogy on Vita, and all
And
I'm
in the
saying
future
is
trilogy on PS3?
no. I have played the future trilogy, but not. Like, I've played the trilogy on Vita more recently than the future trilogy on PS3.
Yeah, I just mean, like, that's, like, how long ago, like, the Vita is more recent than the PS3.
Yeah. So, I see what you mean. Yeah. So all I'm saying is, in terms of the pantheon of Ratchet and Clank games, it's very heavily colored by my rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah, that's kind of where it sits for me, and even then, I'm still, like, top 3, top 5?
Oh yeah, I'd say it's still probably top 3 for me. My rose tinted glasses tell me that A Crack in Time is still my favorite Ratchet and Clank game, followed by
Locked and Loaded.
Up your arsenal.
Definitely not Up Your Arsenal. It's either Locked and Loaded or Rift Apart. I can't distinguish them.
It's like a freeway boxing match between those 3 games for me.
I think Crack in Time is still edges both for me. Anyway, so I have a couple notes, more just so I remind myself of what the fuck any of the planets are called, rather than the one with these enemies on it.
Or the one that's in this environment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What did I like about it? The weapon upgrade system I thought was really nice. Like
the Raritanian system.
Yeah, it felt like a nice middle ground between the Platinum Bolt upgrades of Ratchet and Clank 2 and the outright customizable weapons in Crack in Time. But I mean, there were only I think 3 customizable weapons. I don't quite remember. Not all of them were customizable in A Crack in Time, at least. And so this was like a nice middle ground where all of them were upgradable, but they were upgradable as you found Raritanium. You didn't have to go finding Platinum Bolts. So that was cool. The some of the weapons that were in the I want to quickly touch on. Shadow Bomb was way too strong. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, Shadow Bomb is like one of my favorite grenades throughout the entire series.
Yeah, it felt like I know that the upgrade to I think it was it the mini bomb launcher? Whatever the equivalent one in Ratchet and Clank 2 was, upgraded to the mini nuke.
Yeah.
This felt stronger. Yeah, it was crazy. It was like the bomb glove from Ratchet and Clank 1. But I had cheat codes on. Very, very strong. Warmonger, classic. You know, it's been in a few games and still very strong.
Yeah, Warmonger's always very good.
Glad that it made a return. The Black Hole Storm, I really liked. One, because I don't quite remember if there have been many sort of machine gun style weapons in Ratchet and Clank games.
There's been a few. One of them was even a Rhino at one point. But
yeah, Rhino 2 was a machine gun, and the Heavy Lancer was also
a machine gun.
Oh, was it? Oh,
it was a machine gun that shot rockets.
Okay, well, I mean. But yeah, I really liked the feel of Black Hole Storm. I want to touch on Rhino 8 really quickly, though. It was a letdown for me, because I think we talked about this in the Ratchet and Clank episode, in that a Rhino should feel powerful. And it does. Rhino 8 does. And the effect, I think, is the coolest of all the Rhinos that I can remember.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel strong enough, particularly against bosses. and it's really frustrating.
That's the thing. They traded usability and damage and just the Rhino being the be-all, end-all nuke for the fact that this is a very, very cool weapon in what they did with it.
Yeah.
This is going to be a second episode where we can't talk about it because we can't spoil it for Josh. Because I'm pretty sure I was dancing around it when I talked about Ratchet and Clank last year.
Yeah, because it was a surprise for me when
last year.
It definitely wasn't this time last year. No, it was a nice surprise seeing what it did. I really liked what it did. I just wish it did more damage. And I know you can upgrade it to make it do more damage, but it still doesn't do enough damage, particularly to bosses. The Shatter Bomb out damages the Rhino against bosses, and I don't think that's right.
I think at best it does like a fifth or a sixth of some bosses' health bars.
Maybe depending on the boss, because I got it quite late into the game.
Yeah.
Which I guess because of how you unlock it makes sense.
That seems like too much. Like 1/6 of the.
Actually, let me see how much.
I'm saying 1/6 feels too high. I'm pretty sure I went through all. I think it's got like 5-ish shots. I went through all 5, and they did maybe half. Very unlikely, but like approaching half.
I was about to say I need to double check the ammo count, but 5 shots for a little less than half sounds right.
So it's more like a 10th or an 11th of a boss's health, which, I mean, a Shatter Bomb it actually probably does a similar amount, but a Shatter Bomb, you just have way more ammo.
Yeah.
So,
it feels good to throw the Shatter Bomb.
Yeah, it does. And also how it works weirdly well on flying enemies. It's literally a here catch, and it just works. Other weapon I want to talk about, Bouncer. I think we both agreed that this was one of our favorite standout weapons from all of the Ratchet and Clank games.
There's a reason they keep bringing it back.
Yeah, no, but I was pleasantly surprised how they brought it back. Because I, in the quest for platinuming, was surprised when I thought I had every weapon, and then it was like, oh no, you don't have the every weapon trophy, and then it becomes available in New Game Plus along with the voxel or whatever the pixelated
the pixelizer.
Is. So pixelizer, thank you.
Oh, so pixelizer is a cool weapon.
That I thought was a nice touch. Although, and I think this might be rose tinted glasses talking, I swear there used to be either more cluster munitions out of the bouncer back in Ratchet and Clank 2, or it used to sound more chaotic than it does.
There were definitely more. I'm pretty sure they toned it down since, because the bouncer in Ratchet and Clank 2 was insanely busted, and it's either reduce the damage or keep the damage but reduce the amount of bouncing ammo around, and I think they went with reduce the amount of bouncing ammo.
I would have preferred the opposite. I loved the chaos of just hearing everything explode. Like, I think that might be where my ADHD stems from.
The thousands of little tinks hitting the floor and then bombs.
Exactly. Getting serotonin like out of a bloody gacha game slot machine.
There's a weapon I want to ask you about, and that's the Ricochet, because this was one of my favorite weapons from the game. What did you think of it?
So the Ricochet, I think they implemented it in a great way. Wait, hang on. There's 2 that did something similar. Is the Ricochet the one that you keep tapping R2 and it keeps attacking?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it most of the time. It felt so I had a weird roller coaster with that one, in that I liked it, then I thought that I didn't like it, and then I liked it again. And the reason why I thought I didn't like it was because I realized it still let you fire even if there was no enemy, and that became weird because it was like, well, hang on, I'm just shooting, like I'm effectively firing blanks here. And then I realized it actually only charges you the ammo if it locks on and attacks a target.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I think it had one of the best implementations of the adaptive trigger, which was nice.
Every pull of that to make it ricochet again is what really makes it stand out for me.
Yeah, it felt really good to use. I just sort of preferred. I didn't favor that weapon. Well, sorry, I favored other weapons over that one in most situations, because if there were a lot of enemies, I wanted something that was more than one target at a time, and if I was focusing on one target, I wanted something that would hit harder. So it was a good mid weapon, but
it's definitely one of those mid weapons. But I really liked it just for the pull of the R2 trigger feeling good, and it's hard to talk about that when you're the only person that's played the game and know what it feels like. And you just whip it out
of the blue, and everyone thinks you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, it's the same with the black hole storm as well. I think what really adds to the sensation of that minigun is that as it's firing, the R2 button is constantly vibrating underneath your finger.
Yep, don't make it weird. No, it's true though. I really liked how almost one final quick point on the weapons and I'll let you finish.
I'm also going to go on weapons as well. Still,
almost all of the weapons used the adaptive trigger in a different way, and they all felt almost entirely from the trigger pull. Like you could figure out which weapon you had, which was cool.
Yeah.
It was nice that they put that attention to detail in. What were you going to say?
Yeah, it's still on that as well. Like the Negatron and whatever the sniper is. I think it's no, it's not the.
I call it the Headhunter. I don't remember what the proper name is.
Both of them have like you pull R2 to the halfway point to like ready it. So for the sniper, it's like you pull halfway and it'll scope you for you to move and aim, and then like pulling the trigger is what fires it. And the Negatron Collider was also the same thing where you pull it halfway and it starts charging this big laser that you're going to fire, and then when you finally pull down the trigger, and it's got a bit of a heft to that trigger pull as well, like not as much as you think when someone says heft, but you do feel it. And once you pull that trigger, it lets out a big stream of energy, and that also just feels really good for the sake of the adaptive trigger.
Yeah, definitely does. Couple point. You going to finish with weapons?
Yeah, that's all. That's me on weapons.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, actually, sorry. One more.
Of course.
They replaced Mr. Zircon with Mr. Fun Guy in this, and I really like Mr. Fun Guy because
yeah, I love him.
Mr. Zircon's whole his lust for genocide got a little old by the time the Ratchet and Clank series got to where it was. So replacing it with this hyper depressed mushroom that is like faking being excited and happy because his name is Fun Guy is it's really good.
Yeah. Also on that, I was going to hit this later, but I was going to get it out of the way now. Fuck, Zircon Jr.'s voice is annoying.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
It's I know him as Billy from Billy and Mandy, but he's done a couple of Nickelodeon ones as well.
God.
That makes so much sense.
I haven't got that far in the game, but good lord, I don't want that.
He's been in the Ratchet and Clank games a bunch as well, different characters, but the exact same voice.
Huh. It's just the it's like some of the like Twitch streamers and shit that are really popular with younger kids now, where there's this weird like being loud equals being funny, and I cannot stand it.
Didn't that start with PewDiePie like 12 years ago? What are you talking about?
Fine, and PewDiePie back then was intolerable to me as well, but
That's
PewDiePie
true, yeah.
now with him being a lot more chilled out is like at least watchable now. So yeah, no, it's for the briefest possible moment, fine, but everything after about 2 seconds is just, oh, this is awful. And the sad part is, I'm assuming kids that play this game go, I really like Mr. Zircon Jr.'s voice, and I go, I can see why. The generation is doomed. Good thing you won't have a planet soon.
The other really big one that he's known for is playing Zim.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was never a big I was never a big
Richard
Zim
Stephen
guy.
Horvitz is the
What a
actor's
name.
name.
What a name, yeah.
Sounds like Jake Horowitz, the College Humor actor. I don't know if that was his real name or not, but that was his name in College Humor. I don't know why that was a random fact that popped into my head, but there you go. Yeah, a couple of things I want to touch on with the with a couple of worlds. Sargasso, way too much like Planet Uzia from Ratchet and Clank 2, which again, Roast into Glasses was like, nice, swamp world, but Jesus Christ,
This one's a very big swamp world.
Yeah, and if there was something specific that you had to go and find, God, it was easy to get lost.
There's also just a lot to do in that planet. Like they unlock the ability to fly around in the atmosphere, and yeah, just having multiple layers of checking the swamps, checking the land, checking the air for collectibles. It's a lot.
The problem that I had was that actually this was a slightly larger problem with the game, although it wasn't really a big issue on linear worlds, that you couldn't place a map marker. And so
that would have helped.
One of the last trophies I had to get was go to Rivet's hideout, and I think it was either watch TV or get the teddy bear. I don't remember which one it was, and I'm shocked that I didn't get it on the first playthrough. And I remember what the base looks like inside, but Jesus Christ, I don't remember how I got there. And I spent a long ass time wandering around the swamps on the back of the beetles and things, trying to figure out, just trying to retrace my steps of how the hell I get to Rivet's hideout.
It's also funny because there's two ways to get to Rivet's hideout. I'm pretty sure there's the correct way where you go through, unlock the door and do a bit of a platforming challenge to do it, or you go around the back and just go through the giant hole in the wall.
I'm pretty sure I ended up having to go through the hole in the wall. Yeah, it was harder than it felt like it should have been, given how simple what I wanted to do was. That wasn't a sentence, but you know what I mean.
I was doing the New Game Plus mode for a little bit, and just to clean out some trophies, and I stopped around Rivet's visit to Sargasso, like after finishing it. I need to go back to the game and actually finish that challenge run. It's not so much that I got sick of it, it's just I played so much Ratchet and Clank that I needed something else.
Yeah, fair. The other one, Savali, that wasn't as bad because it was very open and very wide, but just you see something on the map, or you know where something is on the map that you want to get to, and you're going in that direction, and then it's just like, oh, there's like a 200-meter vertical cliff in front of me. Shit.
Yeah, or a 200-meter valley.
Yeah.
Like, you run into both of those.
Yeah. The other thing that was really funny was Savali. Did you ever notice when you did have an objective, the distances it gave you?
It what?
The distances to objectives that it gave you on Savali.
Yeah, what about them?
So it would tell you, hey, your objective is like 500 meters in front of you, and you would be full-powered charge booting for about 30 seconds to travel 500 meters. So I think Ratchet and Clank canonically are very, very short.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Like, it was wild. Like, I remember thinking it, like, I'm using charge boots at... Shit. You might be right. I hate that you might be right, but I think you might be right. Oh, that's awful. I
like that your mind goes, instead of like the whatever the imperial system is, like Marials, etc. You go, nah, they're just gonna be really short, bro.
I think it's funnier. I prefer to live in the reality where they're just short. That's the first thing Steve hears.
Short people.
My laptop has just crashed, but it automatically saved the recording, so we're still good, fellas. What I missed?
Hey.
Ratchet Clank good?
Ratchet and Clank.
Is it good?
What?
Is it good?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Review over.
Stick around. I'll explain why.
Again.
Favorite. So least favorite. Torrent 4 and the whole. I don't think this is a spoiler, but the Fixer as both an objective and a character did not like.
Oh, really? I think he was underused.
I think that was part of why I didn't like him as well. But, it felt like there should have been more.
Yeah, there should have been more. Using him as a level should have been more of a thing. And
the boss fight was sick.
The boss fight
was sick, but just
I don't know what his character is. And apologies if you already explained it, but do you mean more? The level should have been longer. So the problem is, right, that they introduce you to this magical thing that can solve. It's basically Deus Ex Machina, but with a character. Nice. You're like, oh, this character can go fix all your problems. Okay, sweet. You go to the planet and then you do things mostly unrelated to the character for the first little bit because there's just other random shit going on. And then you finally get to the character and the character's like, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of sad today. Here's a boss fight while I try and kill you. And you're like, wow, this boss fight's sick. And you get to the end. And you get to the end of it and you're like, why don't we just resolve our differences and talk peacefully? And the character's like, you know what? You're all right. And then
he's in a depressive slump because everything he fixes gets destroyed anyway, or everything he fixed is to be used to destroy something else. So what's the point of fixing anything if it's just going to either be destroyed or destroy another civilization, and he'll just resort to destroying everything instead.
Man, Bob the Builder really hit the meth, huh?
True. And also, he's kind of like Iron Giant from Wish. There, I said it.
Iron Giant from Wish.
Catch.com.
Flies up and commits suicide but fails.
I
mean, literally, you walk up to him and he says, I stay, you go.
He's Iron Giant at home.
He tries to kill you.
He is 100% Iron Giant at home.
Giant D's. No, it's starting to piss down rain in here. Hopefully,
Yeah, it's pissing down over here too.
Yeah,
hopefully the recording gets
nice and dry here for a change. But yeah, so least favorite was that. Although the highlight was I don't remember the name of it, the swing shot, ratchet gun, whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, they discontinued these because of people getting like spine issues. The first time you use it, and Rivet's like, my spine. Like, yeah, it's funny.
That's so good. All right, I gotta give it more of a time to play.
So, something that I also want to bring up as a bit of a down note is the Colosseum in this game is both heavily like short on challenges to do, and with the ideas they have in this game, it's very vanilla as well. Like there's a couple of boss fights where you get dragged around different levels, like full on go from one level to a different level, and the environment's changing all the time, and it's really cool, like set pieces. They could have done more of that sort of thing in the challenge arenas, and they just don't. They just keep it as this like weird purple space with floating platforms all the time.
Yeah. Are you ready for the Josh take?
Uh-oh, here it comes, fellas.
No, I'm not. I'm going to move on.
The Colosseum in every Ratchet and Clank game is the worst part of every Ratchet and Clank game.
Oh no, the Colosseum in Ratchet and Clank 2 is so good.
Yeah, there we go. Seth, high five. High five. Nailed it. Nice.
I've never played
Seth, put in the sound of a high five now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we've been over this with Steven before. He's missing out. I think he hasn't touched any of the PS2 platformers.
Oh, it's supposed to come to Game Pass, Fivehead.
If I had to pick one of them, it would be Ratchet and Clank, though, without a doubt.
Yeah, it is the most easily recommendable of them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Not the remake based on the movie though, the original.
God, no, that was like, it was tolerable, but it was so shit after playing the actual first one.
You know what? Yeah. I reckon if Steven did that as his first Ratchet and Clank game, he'd come out of it very positive.
You think? The story's not even like, it doesn't even make sense. They throw in parts of the movie that don't fit with the rest of the story of the game. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Also,
you know what? Just that, I'm not going to play it.
I'm glad.
Well, we tried, guys. We tried.
Play up your arsenal.
Also, what's up with you and wanting to go up people's arse and all?
No, Up Your Arsenal is the best Ratchet and Clank game. Sorry.
No, definitely not.
Google
Josh, take back in the corner. Go past Go and collect your free bottle of paste and sit in the corner.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Just because there's a robot Britney Spears and you got horny over it doesn't make it the best one.
I think it was just the best one for me because I sat there playing the multiplayer thing alone for like God knows how many hours. The one where you gotta like, you basically spawn in like this world and you gotta take out the enemy base. That was sick.
It's so sad, but I take pity on him thinking that was the best part of it, and now I'm never going to admit that Ratchet and Clank 3 is the best, but at least I understand where Josh is coming from on that one.
Now I feel sad. I love it.
You know what? If you like that so much, I reckon he'd really enjoy Gladiator.
I've heard good things about Gladiator, but I haven't played it.
Yeah, Gladiator is really one that I'm also missing.
His whole like gimmick with the armor and stuff though kind of threw me off. So I don't know. I will play it at some point.
Oh, actually, worth bringing up the armor super quickly. I love that they took the approach of if you collect the armor, we give you the perks, but you don't have to wear it to get the perks, because then you can just wear whatever the fuck you wanted, and you got the perks from having collected the, like, you've done the hard work.
90% of the game, I had Ratchet dressed like he was from a Back to the Future movie.
Nice.
Oh yeah, well, at least for my challenge run, I had Ratchet dressed as Clank.
that also works very well.
It just makes every cutscene a little adventure.
I'm gonna go find Clank, meanwhile you are Clank.
So Torrent 4, least favorite planet, hands down Pirate Planet. I fucking loved that planet.
Every time they do Pirate Planets, they hit it out the park.
Especially, oh man, like, I don't think it's a spoiler, but the pirate training carnival ride is the greatest part of this game.
It is.
So to give you a taster for those of you that haven't played it, Ratchet's been told that he needs to join this pirate clan and that there's a strict training thing that he has to go through to get there. And so the first thing, and so he shows up to this shack, and it's really unclear what this trial is going to be about. And there's a camera in his face that says, "Welcome to the pirate training area. What is your name? What is your name, matey?" And then Ratchet just looks at the camera and goes, "What?" And therefore that gets saved as his name. So it's like, "Ahoy there, what?
It's actually a replay of his voice. So like he's like super confused. It's a really good line delivery, by the way. He's really confused. He's really confused with the what. So every time it's just replaying that exact voice clip, and it's so fucking good.
And there's
literally
like the
fucking
disgruntled
gold and silver question mark levels of quality. That's excellent.
and there's like the disgruntled front desk employee that's like trying their best to seem like they don't want to shoot themselves. Just the whole thing. The whole thing is just the best.
How far is that through the game?
That's
Quite a
probably
ways.
That's probably like
no.
2/3 point.
Ah, shit. I've only done like the first
I was
level.
banking
just
more towards
started with it
3/4.
the
You might
first
be right
time.
on the 2/3. I just based. Oh no, you're right. It probably is the 2/3. Yeah. Anyway, 100% worth it for that fucking planet alone. It's great.
Also, I want to get your take on like the 2 levels in this game where their gimmicks are look how fast the SSD is. Blizzard Prime and Cordelian, I think.
Yeah.
Cordelian. Where
It's
both of them is
actually
like
freaky that you know both of those.
I've got the wiki up.
Oh.
I'm cheating.
Cordelian, I think. Please be right, Wiki.
Meanwhile-
Please be right.
Yeah. I was like opening it in the
Come
new
on,
tab as I
internet.
was saying it. Yeah, but both
I
of them
think
is
it's
just
Blizon Prime rather than Blizzard, but yeah.
yeah. Both of them have like this gimmick where if you hit a crystal and it completely shifts the planet to a different time period, and both like the insane speed it switches is so good. It does like a quick flash
feels
to white.
good while it does it too.
Yeah. And both of them just in
that's-
general are like very interesting levels. Like Blizzard Prime is Blizzard Prime is you're going back and forth between this planet being destroyed and like the final moments of it as it's as everyone's like freaking out but also just kind of doing their job to make sure that it doesn't blow up. And Cordelian is set up as like a an old Resident Evil survival horror one where there's like a monster chasing you throughout the level and you're going to different time periods to avoid it.
Yeah, it's done really well. I don't really have any thoughts to add. I think they nailed those 2 planets. They're great. They are great gameplay wise. They're not as good. Like I will forever say that the pirate base is just the greatest part of Ratchet and Clank, but those are 2 very strong levels. Enemy types felt a bit samey in places. I don't really have much to expand on it. It just got
They use a lot of nefarious robots and goons for hire.
And I love the nefarious robot voice lines. The happy chirpy, we're gonna kill you now.
Yeah.
It's like almost towards the sort of Rick and Morty sort of grunt voice, like the weird, the kind of disjointed personality to what they are. I really enjoyed. The generic thugs, which I thought of as the thugs for less goons. They might even beat thugs for less,
the
actually.
thugs for less guys coming back. I think they were brought back in Nexus, which was the last of the future games that leads into this one.
Yeah, just a little bit samey. The organic and like the enemies on the planets helped spice things up a bit, but it wasn't even really a detriment. It was just slightly a shame that with all the Rift gimmicks that they felt a bit samey given what they had access to. The movement felt great. I was an idiot and didn't realize that Phantom Dash did iframes for way too long into the game.
They tell you that that's the very first thing they tell you. They give you it and go, they can't hit you if you're not there, and then you dash from a wall.
Yep.
And you just didn't make that connection, huh?
Well, no, I still faced down the giant fucking Sargassian Tyrannosaurus and ate shit on every charge.
It's one of those things where you've played Ratchet and Clank so much that just strafe jumping is your natural habitat.
I mean, I
It's
still
so
have
true.
a habit of doing that, but like when it's like dodge iframe, I'm like, cool. That's
Bro,
just like a modern game thing. I can get behind this.
Enemies also lead their shots very well, so sometimes you'll Phantom Dash right into another enemy's shot. It's
The
actually
number
a
of times-
fairly decently challenging game, I think.
I'd say that's true as well, but the number of times that I ran up to something and wanted to do a high jump helipack from like old Ratchet and Clank
they
games,
just don't have.
where you just where you just run up and hold R2 and you just fucking shotgun blast the thing in front. You're like, right, that's right.
So my
Weapons on
experience
R2
with the
now.
game's like 2 or 3 hours into it, right? And it's like, oh, you can hold like, the jump button to glide down. I'm like, oh, so Clank's gonna do. Oh, no, it's Boots. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh. I had like a moment where I nearly closed the game because I just didn't want to do it anymore.
They need to keep it there when Clank isn't around.
I get that, but it really, really upset me.
Because 70% of A Crack in Time, Ratchet and Clank aren't together. So they kind of made that
Crack
part
in
of his
Time or
toolkit.
Rift Apart?
Fun?
No, Crack in Time.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, okay, but why keep it for Rift Apart? I haven't actually played Crack in Time. Was that PlayStation 3 only or something?
That was PlayStation 3 only, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I haven't played any of those games, the PlayStation 3 ones.
The charge boost thing is funny because I don't really have a huge I'm just so conscious of time, but the charge boost thing is funny because in my quest to get the remaining trophies when I started New Game Plus again, I'd already built in the muscle memory of just charge booting everywhere, and so just walking at what feels like way too slow a pace without charge boots until you get back to Savali.
Oh, and when they give you the upgrade for the hover boost to actually like kick to go faster, I think that's so good. It just feels really good.
And it feels really good. Yeah, exactly. It feels really good to use as well.
It's that same thing where it's got that heft to the trigger pull as you're dashing, and it sounds weird to say it, but when you actually play it yourself, you understand. It feels great.
I think there's a theme here in that Saif likes heft, and you know what? Fair enough.
I am the heavy specimen after all.
True. The final thing I want to hit, story. I thought it was fine, but it felt way too much like I was being taught by a video game how to feel empathy for other human beings, which maybe kids that play it find some sort of emotional attachment to that, and power to them if they do. But the number of characters thinking they misunderstand each other and saying sorry and saying I know how you feel, it's just like, oh god.
It's Ratchet and Clank 1 again, but they took the fangs out.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good way of
also,
describing it, actually.
It's also kind of like Ratchet and Clank have like this history to them that they're also really able to guide these other characters through their mishaps in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of the crux of it. They're like, it's for kids, and they're trying to show kids how to healthily deal with these sort of problems.
I think the problem that I had is that so much of the cutscenes specifically were them dealing with the fallout of these, and a lot of... So, I finished this game a couple months ago, so I might be off base here, but it felt like while playing it, most of the comedy was while you were playing the game, and most of the heavy, like, drama-y stuff was in the cutscenes.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And
that is the split.
That felt too polarizing, because cutscenes, and again, roast into glasses back to Ratchet and Clank 2, there were jokey cutscenes, just not all the time, but it didn't have to be once you started or finished a planet, you're like, oh boy, who's going to apologize this time?
Yeah, it became more space opera with the Future series, and they've just been more into that direction since, and all the comedy writing is in the gameplay itself.
Yeah, and it is there. I just wish it wasn't.
There was more of it in the cutscenes.
Yeah, or just break it up. Fuck, but it just reminds me of shit. I think it's Before the Storm. It's either Before the Storm or one of the later episodes in Life is Strange 1, where there's like a solid 5-minute block where it's just Max going, shit, what was the line? I used to meme on it. Fuck. It's basically her just going, I have no idea. Like, I had no idea that's how you feel. It was just like, it's trying to do the comforting friend thing, but it's dialed to 15, and it goes so far past the point of believable that it just goes to cringy.
It's sounding like you're trying to talk about like the South Park thing where they're like, we're sorry.
Like that, but they're trying to do it genuinely. They're just overplaying it is the difference. Anyway, yeah, so platinumed it. Wahoo.
Wahoo!
Yeah, sits in it's me, Chris Pratt. Sits in my top 3 in Ratchet and Clank Pantheon, but yeah, I still think Roast into Glasses Say a Crack in Time is better, both. Yes, it had the heavier story, but I was more invested in the heavier story. Here, the story was fun and great, but just the amount of drama in between what I consider the bits advancing the story was just a bit much.
There's also kind of the hint of we've been here before with Ratchet and Clank, that it's weird to be here with Rivet.
Yeah. Rivet as a character, great.
Oh yeah, no, Rivet's fantastic. I hope they do more games and keep her around.
Yeah. That's basically all I have to say. Final score, I don't know, 8.5 out of 10. It's probably where I'd put Ratchet and Clank 2 as well, and then Crack in Time 9. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
For you,
Oh, yeah.
before you wrap it up. What do you think they need to add to make it a 10?
What an interesting
Borderlands
question.
style handsome Jack.
I think the story was probably the biggest thing that could have been improved on to make it closer to a 10 in all of that discussion. Like, everything else felt like it was coming across really positively. The weapons feel good and it's a great selection. The planets are great. There's some really good comedy moments in there in the gameplay. It's just the overall story was the thing holding it that little bit back.
Okay.
Yeah. That's basically true.
As someone who's never played a Ratchet and Clank game, is this a good place to start?
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think so. There's only one connection to previous, like there's a few Easter eggs and stuff if you look for them, but they only outright mention or include 3 links to previous games, being Dr. Nefarious, the son of the plumber, and finding the Lombaxes.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank is one of those series where, there's a lot of games in there and there's some connective tissue between them, but all the stories are pretty much standalone and you can jump on wherever.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you guys remember, but right at the very start of the game, the very first thing that you do while in the tutorial, you're jumping between floats and they're teaching you to use weapons and stuff. And all the floats are telling a story of basically what you've done so far as Ratchet and Clank. So it'd be like, oh, this is this planet, you defeated this and you saved us and blah, blah, blah. You're still searching for the Lombaxes, and then they give you all the background that you would need. Like,
Yeah,
it's not,
that
you're
too.
not going to miss anything.
And that's a very fun tutorial as well.
It is a good tutorial, yeah.
And it's great going back through New Game Plus when you have like the fully upgraded weapons.
It's like,
And you're like, I'm not locked in here with you.
I get it, Quark. I finished that segment 20 seconds ago. I'm good to move on to the next one.
yeah. I'm trying to think of if there's something funny to wrap it up with. I swear I got one glitch that was worth talking about, but I can't remember it anymore.
Oh, I had a couple of glitches as well.
You had the T-pose glitch. That was great.
Yeah, the T-pose glitch because I was traveling through one of the levels too fast on the hover boots, so they didn't load the NPCs properly.
Yeah, I never had that. I think I had something, but I don't remember what. Yeah, no, really, really good game. I think not only is the story holding it back, but the problem is the story. When you're trying to do a story like that, this is my own personal taste, but I would say that something like Sly Raccoon 3 had a fairly intense story that didn't really gel with the fun kind of platformy gameplay of what it is, but they did it well, and it didn't feel like it was characters trying to get over all of their problems in cutscenes. So it's not that I want the story to be less intense, it's just I want better storytelling in cutscenes, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, the story holding it back, I think, for me is the reason why it's not closer to a 10. And the lack of NFTs and crypto rug pulls, but that's like a whole other thing. Looking at you, Square Enix, you can make the perfect 10 game. Trust me, you'll do it one day. Just keep trying.
Babylon's
They did
Fall 2.
Final Fantasy 15.
Oh.
Those were two completely different answers, but landed in the same area of quality.
Yeah.
We did it.
Well,
I think I'd rather play Babylon's Fall than play Final Fantasy 15 again. I'm not
You're
gonna
right.
lie.
Oh,
Josh, now you shut the fuck
there's a Josh take we needed.
It's a Josh take, but like I haven't played Babylon's Fall. I've played Final Fantasy 15. I know how shit that game is.
So you
It doesn't
prefer
get
the
any better.
idea of playing Babylon's Fall than the actual experience of playing 15?
Yeah, I wouldn't play either. But, you know, if I had to pick one, I'd pick the one I haven't played before.
cool. So looking at the time, I absolutely did not intend to speak for what is now hitting 40 minutes because I was about to lambast both of you for speaking longer than I did. And then we ended up getting into Ratchet and Clank discussion part, whatever number this is. So I would like to make the executive call that we jump over the news for this week into the audience question. Thoughts?
Sounds good.
Uh,
I'm fine with that.
Or,
Is there anything you
let
want
me-
to talk
let me
about from
double-
news,
yeah.
Steph?
let me double check the news section because I think there might be like one or two things worth talking about quickly this week.
and that's totally
Guilty
fine.
gear.
Yeah, you can hit one or two, but I don't think we spend a huge amount on the news this week, just based on how the
I'm
timings
going
have
through
gone.
there. We can skip a good bunch of these. Okay, let's mark in the news. Patrick, swing me in.
No,
All right, I'll pick up what you're putting down. Real quick, I just want to hit on that Bayonetta 3. Like the day after I said it was my number 5 game of the year, got a update that vastly improves a lot of the complaints I had about Viola's combat. So she is now a real functioning character. That's fantastic. Love to see it. Move on.
What's next, Seth?
Are you telling me to move on? It's your news, my guy.
Shit.
Okay, and next up, Seth with the news. There, are we happy now?
Yes. Oh god, I accidentally
It's been a
closed down the
fucking
article.
chaotic episode.
Oh my god.
Or maybe I didn't have
You
it
know,
open at all.
I'm just gonna do the news. Bayonetta 3 is doing something. Bethesda and Xbox are still making out.
Yeah, Xbox and Bethesda announced that they're going to do a developer directs live stream on January 25th. They're saying that they're going to do Elder Scrolls Online, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, Redfall, and more. They're not going to show Starfield. They're saying they're going to do Starfield's event at a later date.
And the third one was that Ubisoft hasn't made a good game in 10.
Did you say Forza Motorsport?
Yeah,
Motorsport.
Xbox Bethesda, big fella.
Ooh, Motorsport I'd be keen for. Okay, I'm hyped for this now.
Yeah, I'll watch it live. Wait, when did I say that was going to be again? January 25th?
January 25th.
That is before I move, so I can watch that live.
It'll be January 25th, but it'll be 26th here.
Yeah, it'll be on Australia Day here.
Yeah, so we all got the day off. Hell yeah.
Group watch?
No, I am going away.
Dang.
Passing away. I'm sorry for your loss.
No. You know what? I will, just because of that joke. Steven died on the way back to his home planet.
Speaking of
You
dying,
know who
how
else
about
is dying
Ubisoft,
and going
Seth?
on their way to their home planet?
Hey.
Ubisoft is delaying a bunch of games because they're in dire straits. They've delayed Skull and Bones yet again.
Don't even fucking talk to me about that fucking game, Jesus fucking Christ.
You know what? I love that every time Josh appears on the podcast, there's a Skull and Bones.
It's been like again. Oh man.
So true. Thank you for taking a brave stand and talking about the real news, Seth.
Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said that they're very disappointed in their recent performance and saying it's up to the workers to pull up the slack that is going on with Ubisoft. There's a little bit of rumors, so let's take this part with a grain of salt, but people are saying that Ubisoft is trying to sell themselves to other companies and everyone is saying no. I don't blame them. Just wait for Ubisoft to go bankrupt and then buy up all the IPs
Pick
later.
up the IPs, yeah. You don't want anything to do with what Ubisoft currently is, really.
Ubisoft is way too big of a company.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so close your eyes. We're in the Mind Palace. If for whatever reason Microsoft buys Ubisoft,
they're not
and
allowed
they
to.
turn...
I won't allow it.
We're there. We're in the happiest place in the world. And Sea of Thieves has been merged with
Polygon's
Skull and
Playland?
No, don't do that.
You like Sea of Thieves?
I do like Sea of Thieves, but it's an arcade game.
Yeah, now we can do something else. I don't know. I've never played either of those
I've been
games.
waiting for Skull and Bones for like 7 years, man. I don't care how shit it's gonna be. Just release it, man. That's all I want.
They're contractually obligated
Josh.
to release it because the Singapore government will actually nuke Ubisoft if they don't.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, no, it's true. It's probably one of my favorite parts of consumer regulation. That it's like, it counts as fraud if they don't deliver a pre-order thing on time, which, because it's Ubisoft, half of their shit is pre-order.
Yeah. Half of it's pre-order and all of it's delayed.
I thought you were going to say your favorite part of investing was nuclear warfare, but close second, right?
That's it.
You're right, Steve. If you'd called me like 20 minutes earlier, that would have been what I said. But unfortunately, that's just not the timeline we live in, you know?
And hey, talking about being upset with people's statements and timelines, that thing I said about 3 minutes ago about Yves Guillemot saying, hey, all the employees need to pick up the slack so that Ubisoft can do good. Yeah, that didn't go well with the employees at Ubisoft, so Ubisoft Paris is going to go on strike.
What?
That's just Paris people doing
No
Paris
way.
things. That's just the French are always striking.
Yeah,
they haven't had a
the
strike
French
in like
having
3
a
weeks.
revolution of some kind? No fucking way.
I think the
Oh,
bit
here
that
comes the
upsets
French
me the
person with
most.
the guillotine. Whoa!
I've
Please
been
take
waiting
our
for this
millionaires
comeback
and
for
leave
so
us.
long.
The bit that upsets me the most about it, let's say the grain of salt Ubisoft rumors are true and they are trying to sell themselves to other companies. The bit that upsets me the most about that is that if they are successful, all of the people that got them into that mess will get off basically scot-free, and all the people that need to get them out of the mess will get fucked over.
It'll be
I can't
their
imagine
golden
there'll be a
parachute
company that will buy
moments.
them, though. Like, who's a company that's going to buy them other than Sony, perhaps?
Microsoft. I just
Yeah,
said
but
Square
Microsoft
Enix.
are in the middle of so much
Microsoft
shit.
cannot buy them at the moment because they're in the middle of the ABK merger.
Could you imagine that? They're like, okay, guys, how about this? We back out of ABK and we just pick up Ubisoft instead, and we call it a day.
Yeah, I think that
What's
might
funny
actually
is that
go worse
Activision would
because
be-
I think I heard this on another podcast, but I think Ubisoft has something in like the 100,000 employee count, while everyone
Jesus.
else is down to like 10 to 20k.
Wow.
So-
Bro, how? How do you produce games like they do with
But they don't even
100,000
produce.
people?
They just fucking delay.
It's
They
because
cancelled like 6 games this year. What do you mean? What?
their games are so big that they have like multiple studios working on different chunks of the game and then pacing them all
You're
together
telling
to
me-
ship it.
You're
But
telling
it's
me
just fucking one map with
100,000
100
people.
collectibles.
Are you telling me that the collective efforts of 100,000 people came together and delivered unto humanity Mario Rabbids Kingdom 2?
Well, it wasn't 100,000 people specifically, but a group of that 100,000 people, yes.
One of my favorite things, actually, I read about the Ubisoft stuff recently was that they were complaining that their big blockbuster hits, like the Rabbids games, haven't been selling like predicted, which was a fucking sentence and a half to read for me,
You know
honestly.
what? I'm going to say it. That first Rabbids game only sold as well as it did because it was the only thing you could buy on Switch at the time.
Yeah, there's
It's true.
nothing
It's the
left.
only reason why I own it. And
It's
you know
funny
what?
because
It's fun.
I've
It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've heard there's okay, but like, the rabbits are just minions at this point, and no one wants anything to do with them.
Actually, Josh, that's where you're wrong, because the gentle rabbits TikTok trend did not take off.
You're right, sorry, they're worse than minions. Eminem hasn't tweeted about them for some reason.
Oh god, remember that? Oh, dude.
It's hard to forget.
Okay, real quick before we wrap up the Ubisoft thing, the Paris employees are demanding an immediate 10% increase for all salaries, improvements to working conditions, in particular the implementation of the 4-day week, transparency on the evolution of the workforce, both locally and globally, and strong commitment against disguised dismissals and condemnation of abusive managerial policies.
Holy shit!
It's a big list.
I don't know much about what it's like to work at it. Like, I haven't.
Working
Crazily
with
enough,
9,999 other people.
And if they're all like me, that's a hell of a company. But we haven't really covered shit happening at Ubisoft compared to shit happening at basically every other large publisher. But just that list alone, with the guns to the head of management who are trying desperately to sell themselves off, is just a very funny combination to me. And God, I hope they win.
Yeah.
Alternatively, the 10% salary rise to 100,000 people cripples the company and then it crashes faster, in which case...
They're saying that they can do that because Tencent did a massive investment into Ubisoft recently. So there's definitely money to give out to the employees.
Tencent would buy them.
They've got that Genshin money now.
Yeah, Genshin Rabbids crossover when?
Ooh.
Genshin isn't owned by Tencent. It's MiHoYo.
Isn't it? Oh.
I also just saw a recommended article
Right,
that's titled "All the Times Ubisoft has said that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in development."
Oh, I also saw that, yeah.
God, what a shit show. That's so funny.
It lists all the way back to 2008.
Good lord. I didn't realize it had been quite that long.
They
That's
didn't
15 years,
show
bro.
it that long ago, but they've been saying Beyond Good and Evil 2 is going to happen since then.
Crazy
Anyway.
times. Anyway, any final thoughts on any of the news stories from anyone else?
I'm glad Bayonetta 3 is getting the praise it deserves.
Oh yeah, that was a story we covered as well.
Yeah, no, he wanted one sentence. I gave him one sentence.
It was a pretty loaded sentence.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Fuck you, Steven. I'm doing one more. Guilty Gear XR Drev 2 is
I
getting
knew you
rolled
were
back.
going to run fucking Guilty Gear. I knew it. It had to roll back in the title.
January 20,
wait.
Guilty Gear Rev 2 becomes a real game.
Oh, yeah, base birthday present.
Crossing live to our rollback correspondent, Saif, the heavy roller himself. How's the rollback netcode?
Rollback's pretty good.
All right.
It's rolling backwards.
Yeah, it runs forwards. So good.
I'm just thinking that well, what's the Tom Tucker Ali thing with soup? Give me some soup. What kind of soup? Chunky.
Chunky. Yeah, it's so good. I love that episode where they like legalize weed or whatever, and he just talks like mad slow. It's like it's all good. How's it with Ali? It's all good.
Alright, cool. Yeah, that's the news section out of the way for this week. Audience question coming. Well, it's just a question. There's no way that there is an audience member called Peter fucking Rabbit. But
I reckon there
question
is.
for the
I
group.
worked at the studio
reckon
that
there
made
was.
Peter Rabbit for about 7
okay,
months.
well, all right. I'll put it another way. If your name's Peter Rabbit, write a comment. Let us know. I don't believe you're real. Prove me wrong. Yeah, exactly. Have you guys ever won something video game related, like entered a raffle and won a Wii?
No, I'm very unlucky. I enter a lot of competitions that I never win.
I feel like I might have as a kid, but I don't remember. So I'm going to be safe and say no.
Don't you paddle, Josh? He's gonna stare in silent. I bet you guys won like a million things.
No, the only thing I've ever won was 2013 Ministry of Sound running track CD.
Fuck,
And
that's
honestly,
alright.
Was
that was
that like a
fucking
hint
good.
from your parents, or?
But no, I don't think so. But all the gym clothes I got for Christmas might be. But that album was excellent.
5
Didn't even
different
know I won
family
it.
members giving you the Link's box set.
Oh man, you'd never smell bad again.
I don't know,
Link's
you smell
Africa.
like Link's, which is pretty awful.
No, it's the chocolate one. I've seen those commercials.
Oh, dude, the chocolate one. I used to wear that in high school. Now the idea of it makes me sick. I can't believe I used to wear that. Oh,
Bro,
So
I
you-
can't believe you used to wear that.
I can't believe that I sprayed it in my mouth to see what it tasted like.
I can't believe it's
I
not
did the
butter.
same thing.
Couldn't afford it. I knew everyone had done it.
Thank you, Seth, man of culture.
I have another audience question. Who here has licked one of the Switch cartridges because they said it tastes bad?
Guilty.
Yeah, guilty.
You're all friends.
Guilty
I have
gets
not.
drive.
I have not.
Oh, time to go lick a Switch cartridge live on audio.
In solidarity.
You know
what, just
for
upset-
the Ubisoft employees.
I don't know if it'll upset or please Josh, but I'll do it to my cartridge of Pokemon Scarlet.
Look, you can lick whatever Pokemon you like, Seth. That's between you and them.
What do you mean
There's
it's
this
between
Pokemon called
Seth and God?
Vaporeon, right? There's this Pokemon called Vaporeon, right?
Hold on, let me find the most spangable Pokemon.
Oh my god.
Why do I done?
Keyboard
Call it.
typing.
All of us are
Seth, put that down.
Why do I hear police?
Goldango! Ooh. What,
Seth.
Get out
what
of
happens
here.
if I get to the center of that Tootsie Pop?
Oh good god.
Okay, that's it. Call it Pat. Call it Pat.
Seth,
enough.
I'm an atheist, but I'm crawling on my hands and knees and begging you, find God.
I did, it's Arceus, and I'm gonna lick that one too.
Oh no.
Do you know what
what
I'm
have
just
you
gonna
done?
start? I'm gonna start praying to God that he smites you down. I've had enough of this.
Have I run anything video game related? I've won. There were like a couple like fucking shitty local like Mario Kart things that I did
Ooh.
well at, but I don't think there was ever any prize. It was just like, oh no, there was there was a LAN at an internet cafe that we placed not to win anything good, but we got more time at the internet cafe.
You want fair
Which-
trade?
Yeah, I mean, as like a poor high school student, I took that deal. So
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't even think
that's
in
been it.
tournaments or anything I've even won anything. Nothing really happens
Yeah,
locally in
The
Sydney.
one time I
No.
went to the EB Games Expo, there was a Mario Kart tournament, and I fumbled the bag on that one. I was doing really good, but it got into a tiebreaker, and I fumbled on Rainbow Road 64.
You tried to lick the cartridge, didn't you?
Classic.
No, it was being played through a capture card, so it was like a 2-second delay on the controls.
Oh, that's rough.
Really? They're playing through a capture card?
Yeah.
You know,
Because
Why
they
people
had it up on a
doing that?
projector, but the people running the tournament also like recorded the things going on. So they recorded the matches and they did some interviews with the people that won first and second place.
so to find
Which is funny because
the interview
this was for a beanbag chair company.
so hang on. So if we want to find your interview, do we type in?
I didn't do an interview. I didn't.
Seth
I
gets demolished on Rainbow Road.
I was like fourth or fifth place.
Seth tastes the rainbow.
man sucks so much.
Steve, I'm
Hold
begging
on, let
you,
me
don't
find-
finish that search.
Hold on,
Seth
let me
has a lot
find
in
what
common with the
Pokemon is the
police
most
officer from
suckable.
the US.
Shut up.
Oh, boy.
Greninja's tongue do be looking pretty good right now.
Oh, God.
No. Call us out, Pat. None of us have won anything
We all suck.
except for most cringe award going to Seth right now.
True.
Listen, you guys set
alright.
things up, and I just make it awful for all of you.
So I guess
True,
the
and
moral
then-
here is never try.
What do you mean? The
Yeah,
moral here
that's-
is
that's
get a
my
bigger
takeaway.
gun.
So I
If
can't-
God had wanted you to live, he wouldn't have created me.
So Josh, it's been nice having you here. I can't wait to see you in 2 months when Skull and Bones gets delayed again.
I'd like to say it's not funny, but it's pretty funny.
Look, it'll come out the same time as Advance Wars.
Oh,
It's been nearly a year.
Man, I put that knife in there, and you just came up and twisted it.
that's
Yeah,
so
no,
much
'cause-
worse than Skull and Bones, to be honest, because that's been out.
Steve stood up on the top rope and did a flying jump kick at the knife.
Look, yeah,
Damn.
that's wild. Like, it's been nearly a year, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you
Fucking better
to
release free. Sorry, go on.
Peter Rabbit, whoever the fuck you may be.
Thanks for
Watch-
making us
watch
all
out for
feel
them.
bad.
Watch out for the farmer.
If
How
you've
many
won
games
something,
have you
right
won,
in.
Peter?
Yeah,
I think
have
Peter
you
Rabbit hasn't
ever
won
won
anything.
anything, Peter?
Yeah, don't think he has.
I think you won the game of life.
What?
I imagine he'd be really good at Farmville or really terrible at it. One of the two.
Keeps eating his crop.
Exactly. Keep licking the screen. But
Just a little nibble on the Switch cartridge as a treat.
as a treat.
As someone who has 3 bunnies as house, they do like to they do be eating cords though.
Wait.
They do.
Steve, are you like the house bunny?
No, I'm the house human. The bunnies actually own the house, and I'm their pet.
Licking the screen like Saif and Pokemon on the screen.
All right, and with that, the end of Fast Travel Lounge. Thank you all for listening.
Can you say
Patrick
something
Summer's
now?
We could just use that as the exit. But I mean, I know that Steve does a
Nah,
little bit.
you're the
but-
host. Don't be like that. Don't be like that.
There's the happy birthday.
We need a Gmail shout out.
Fine. If you or someone that you know has a question you'd like us to answer, get in touch. We're on Facebook, Fast Travel Lounge, Gmail, Fast Travel Lounge. Fuck. FastTravelLounge@gmail.com. Or Twitter. You went and fucked me, Steve. That's what you did. Or Twitter, Fast Travel Lounge. Minus
still
one
exists.
of the L's. Yeah, otherwise
Which
this has
one?
been the end of
One Elon took.
His
Got
name's
him.
Eon now.
the one that stopped him paying rent. But
They have a $1.5 billion thing due in January, by the way, in interest. They only have $1 billion
can't wait
left.
for
Just as a
H-Rock
tidbit
to
before we
cover that
close.
on Marketing Monday.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
But until then, this has been the end of episode 56 of Fast Travel Lounge. I've been Patrick, been joined by Saif, Steve, and kind of surprisingly, Josh. But until next time, God damn it, this is the 3rd episode in a row. Until the next episode, we'll catch you next time, or whatever the hell I normally say, because I like that one better. See ya. Goodbye. There we go. Nailed it.
Happy birthday, Josh. You gotta be like, what, 105 now, right?
104.